Hawthorn winning the toss, kicking to the right of screen. Sean Wren in the middle, ready to do battle with Justin Longmuir, who's carrying the ruck duties at the moment for the Dockers in the absence of Clem Michael. But Crawford getting the first kick out of the middle. Dixon couldn't trap it. Bell gets pushed in the back. Quick to take it. Quick to move it on. Metropolis. Already the Hawk defence pushing back as they do so well. They tend to let the teams move the ball along until they get to about here. Lee Brown's kick. Modric couldn't handle it. Hawthorn defence teaming up well. Hay, a floating handball. Graham didn't try and take it, which was a little bit dangerous given that they were deep in attack. The Fremantle Dockers. Fletcher going outside 50, a long way to try and set up a scoring chance. Carr deep into the pocket. Waterhouse back in the side today. Couldn't take it. Harford. Clark got the ball quickly to Burton onto the wing, and that does set up a real chance here for the Hawks on the outer side. Lord the target as they bring it through the wing position. The loose man on this side of the ground is Bowyer. Oh, he couldn't take the grab. Norwich cleaning up, and the Dockers away. Bell's made space on the wing. Crawford bearing down on him. They could be running alongside each other this afternoon, and that'll be a terrific battle. Metropolis sees it over the line.
You're right about the style of play, Hutto. All the Hawthorn players from the half-forward line just going deep in defence, and if they can't execute with skill out of that area, they're going to be in trouble, because the Dockers, we know, will put on a fair amount of pressure.
That's a clean thump out by Sean Wren, but unfortunately for the Hawks, Norwich cleaning up. Oh, Carr holding the ball, tried the tackler advantage, not paid. Now it is. Barlow takes it, goes deep to Thompson. Jones working back off it, happy to see it over and out.
Well, it was a good tackle really from behind. I don't know whether it was an illegal one, but it was really good work to run him down from behind and turn the ball over. And now a scoring opportunity. Both sides fairly physical at the moment, and that gives a bit of an indication that they're both very desperate to obviously get on the board early.
Barker doing the ruck work. Longmuir's pushed into defence to do it for the Dockers. Metropolis, Lord. Good tackling. Check. Almost found a path. Thompson. Again, vigorous stuff from Cook. And Dixon wrapped up, and eventually a bounce.
One thing you will notice, Ben, is that Sean Wren, he used to do it at Adelaide all the time. He'll always sit one kick back behind the play. So if an easy kick comes out, there he is. You can't see him off screen. You can see the bench there, but he just sits way back off the pack and acts as a bit of a single wall at the moment.
Yeah, they got Barker doing the ruck work in the forward line, so that allows Wren to go back, Money.
No score yet, but the Hawks doing the attacking at the moment. Bootsma, who's been prolific for the Dockers in the first few weeks. Cook. Wasn't a great kick. Crawford. McCabe doing the shepherding. Harford. Oh, stolen. Beautifully done by Pavlich. Good persistence too. Gets support now. Fletcher. Oh, high tackle. McCabe, the offender. And Fletcher's got Cook through the middle of the ground. Finds him. Oh, he doesn't find him. Cook left it for McManus. Bowyer late on the scene. Oh, hip and shoulder. Not sure if it was the right measure by Dixon, but certainly wrapped him up.
A couple of other matchups, Hutto. Modra's got Graham and Pavlich has Rawlings. Jones gone to Thompson, as we've already mentioned, at fullback.
Hard to get a line through just who's on top in this game so far.
Yeah, just an arm wrestle at the moment, Hutto. That's good.
You said off air that you could pick the winner after 3 minutes, Ben. We've gone 3 minutes. Metropolis gets it up to 50. Rawlings has been terrific in defence, and again, he makes the spoil. In the first 2 weeks, Rawlings has been fantastic, as is Joel Smith. Couldn't break the tackle cleanly enough to get a good handball away. Fletcher was involved again, and Bell. Tallis, another one of the prime movers for the Hawks. On the way out, Rawlings, out wide. Bowyer, been good so far. Gets around Grover. Got clear. Doesn't always use the ball particularly well, but that was a magnificent kick onto the chest of Nathan Thompson. And he can be, when he's fit and right, a big kick at goal, but other times I've seen him struggle from here.
Well, he was very good last week against Carlton, especially when he came off the bench and went into the ruck. As we know, he can play up forward and kicked a bag full of goals last year. And Fremantle, one of the things they know is that they put a lot of pressure on Hawthorn. They can make some mistakes.
So Thompson from 45, the first score is on the board in this Easter Sunday match. And he pushed it across to the left, and it is a minor score.
It's a great second effort all the same from Bowyer out on the far wing. It was a poor kick from Rawlings out of defence. That's the area that I'm talking about. That's where the Hawks have to hit their targets. If they get the numbers back, they've got to be clean in their execution. But Bowyer, very, very good second effort.
And Hawthorn just using a zone setup here, making it quite difficult for Fremantle to get a kick in. They'll concede that first one, and this is the dangerous one, the second one.
Well, they get it clear to Norwich, but, he has got a couple of options up on the wing. In the end, his execution wasn't exactly how he would have liked, but Carr able to take the mark. So the Dockers working the ball up onto the wing. Oh, good body work from Tallis. Pushed Hazelby away, and now with the help from McCabe, he'll get clear and win a clean possession. Dixon from behind had the run. Couldn't take it. Well, he does take it at ground level. Terrific work. He almost went out of bounds, not quite. And again, it's long and deep. Oh, Thompson working his way to the front. Judged it beautifully, and this time he should score a major.
What about the evasive skills of Dixon then? Wasn't it absolutely fantastic? He was under a lot of pressure. He was being pushed onto the boundary line and came back around onto his left foot, which opened the goal space up. And, Thompson, he came from behind to take that mark, Ben. Just very good judgment.
Yeah, just watch Jones there. He lost body contact on Thompson. I know Thompson threw himself right at the ball, but Jones has just got to get the body contact early.
So Thompson has finally...
No.
Well, has he? No. Well, he's finally kicked the second point.
Well, I think all the same, it's a good sign for Fremantle. The back line for Hawthorn hasn't been dominant, and they haven't had any releases from that area, so Freo will be happy.
Bell, he's going to be run down here.
Great tackle.
That is holding the ball.
Without a doubt.
Dixon doing some good hard work for them. Thompson being the major target so far. This one's aimed at Aaron Lord and finds his man. So just a few defensive concerns for the Dockers now.
And the kick was to perfection too, wasn't it, Ben?
It was, but it was the second tackle from behind that Hawthorn have executed already at the 6-minute mark of the quarter. Crode before was holding the ball, and Dixon just the running pressure of the Hawthorn forwards. Very, very good play.
So Aaron Lord. Surely he can kick accurately from 40. And he does. So the Hawks have got a goal, and they lead 1-2 to nothing.
Well, he's a very handy player, as Aaron Lord. Had a reasonable day last week. 12 possessions, kicked 1 goal, but took 6 marks. And in that instance, when we see the ball being delivered, it was just in the right spot to him. He had quite a few of the Dockers players surrounding him. There was 3 or 4 in the middle, and here you can see Cook made some sort of attempt to try and get in the way, and Bootsman was a bit late coming in. But after a couple of early misses to the Hawks, they've now got a major on the board. And Ben, you mentioned they need to get off to a good start, Fremantle.
So the Hawks 1-2. The Dockers haven't been able to get off to that good start that they needed to. Wren against Longmuir, favours Longmuir. Wren had the charge through. Well, a little indiscriminate, but no free kick. Doesn't matter for the Dockers. Norwich getting them to centre half forward. The spoil on Pavlich was good from Rawlings. Bowyer's been busy so far. Joel Smith will be shepherded for by Harford. He's got Chick running loose at half forward. Tries to get him and does well on the bounce. It was tough. Plenty of Dockers there. Grover, now Fletcher. And they can try and build on Norwich's handball. Okay, through the middle of the ground. Target at half forward, McManus. It's got Longmuir pushing down to the half-forward line, and he manages just to clear a path and get his teammate in Black free from 50. Black didn't have a shot, centred it. Well, if he meant that, that was a magnificent pass, a scorching pass onto the chest of Justin Longmuir, and if he didn't, it was an absolute fluke.
Well, Luck's unfortunate, I think, with that kick, and I wasn't quite sure. I reckon he was going for a shot on goal and hasn't come off his boot right. He had the option of whether to go for Tony Modra there, who was running straight at him. And
that
was in the right position at the right time, that one.
Good sign from Longmuir, though, just running forward of play, and he's given Sean Red already something to think about in this game. With Wren and Thompson in the ruck, or potentially in the ruck for Hawthorn, you'd think they'd be able to get on top in that area, but Longmuir, he came into some pretty good form last week for the young bloke, and well, anyway, Sean's got some things to talk about and
Needs
think about.
to convert, and does, and he's very happy about it.
Well, he's really improved. He's certainly stepped up this year since he's taken the mantle as the #1 ruckman, hasn't he? He's just growing in stature week in, week out. He had a pretty tough weekend last weekend, but as you mentioned, if you've got a ruckman who's prepared to run forward, Ben, and just offer that extra person up forward, they're not a tall forward line as Fremantle. They've got Modra and and Cook and Waterhouse playing across the full forward line. They've got Pavlich at centre half forward, so he just offers that extra tall person up there, and a very good kick on goal.
It's a pretty good match so far. Dockers needed to get that goal just to restore their confidence. Longmuir, Hazelby pushed off the ball by Chick. Good work by Longmuir at ground level. Even better though by Chick to make the spoil. This is Crawford now emerging off the left. Dixon, was he being hung on to? No. Goes back after it again, but numbers with the Dockers. Brown, now Grover. Couple of targets across the wing. Longmuir to Hazelby brings him into the game, and now Fletcher. So Fletcher looking to find a target through centre half forward. Pavlich playing in front, a long way from home. The Hawks have already got extra numbers back across half back. Sean Wren joining them. McManus and Black the targets for the Dockers, but as I said, the numbers Bowyer with the Hawks, and out onto the wing John Barker has pushed up to provide a target and a path into attack. Crode leads down the ground, he goes longer into the space. Jones comes out in front of Thompson, backed himself, did well. Parker, he happened to knock that Nathan Buckley alongside him this afternoon. Jones keeps on running through the middle of the ground, Bootsma, and they've used it pretty well. And Carr emerges with it on the wing, off the left boot to half forward. Smith pushed away by Cook, good play. Pavlich off the left, can he use it well? Modra in front, just had too much on him. Cook behind him, Black will come into play. Just a little path, not a big enough path for him to run through. And the umpire calls for the bounce.
A good pressure from the Hawks. They're under attack there from Fremantle going forward. But again, Anthony Jones, he's also been in scintillating form this year. Started off attacking the ball and found it in the 50-metre zone.
Wren got the tap down. Bell, tough to get it onto the boot from there. Still tough, but a little bit of space. Left foot kick from Pavlich. What a kick! It's very close. He likes it. It's a goal there in front. No, it's not. It's not. Well, normally you can be relatively safe in following what the player thinks.
Yeah, he's an unusual player, isn't he, Pavlich? He's just able to put that one onto his left boot. Looked like it snuck in from our angle, but it's clearly a point. Good decision from the goal umpy. But Pavlich, he's very, very skilled for a guy that's about 6'2", very mobile, and in the one-on-ones he's excellent as well. So Rawlings just got to be very, very tight on him today.
Aaron Lord, the Hawks again bunching up at half forward. Brown pushed back, didn't make the spoil as well as he would have liked. Clark's handball was important in that. Dixon ends with it, goes again for Thompson. Jones right alongside him, pushed him out beautifully. Just a nice little shove, all fair, and it gets it away. Metropolis off to Fletcher. Now they can go to attack again. The Hawks have got the extra man in McCabe across half back, so he had to go short through the middle of the ground. That's okay for them. Longmuir's kick. No mark, taken off the pack by Black. Couldn't take it cleanly enough to get away. Hay holds it all up.
Yeah, it was a good test of Clive's shoulder. Then Maney had an opportunity to grab that one. Tallis went back in a couple of steps back. It was very good.
Very good.
Put a bit of body pressure on, and Clive just didn't look quite committed to that ball.
Black, well, he was surrounded by Hawks. Fletcher ducked the head. Bootsma sets it up. Need a big grab here. Clive Waterhouse. Back there, Modra came from the side. Norwich against Clark. Had Modra waiting for it. Didn't get it out to him. A bounce handball from Harford, which is interesting. Oh, Bowyer, he's gone. Good, great pursuing by McManus.
Has this heat had any effect on the players already? Because that's the third player we've seen run down from behind.
Up to full forward. Pavlich got one hand to it. Brought it to ground. His work at ground level was excellent. Cook ran into the proverbial brick wall in McCabe. Black again. Bell back to Black. They're almost outside 50. Can he come up with another one of those cross-the-body passes? Chick just fumbled at the last moment. Good pressure from Norwich. Modra should kick a goal. No.
All the same, it's good pressure from the Dockers forwards. They're just whacking the tackles on. There's been no releases, easy releases from the Hawthorn backline, so it's good signs.
The one thing they do know with Hawthorn, Ben, is that they use the ball a lot in their defence, so they're going to give every opportunity for the Fremantle forwards to take it back off them again.
Hay and Rawlings came from behind.
Fact,
that is pretty tough. Rough on Adrian Fletcher. I guess the umpire ruling that he dragged it under. Rawlings up to the wing. Lekis. Now there's a fair bit of space in front of a couple of leading players. The second lead came from Thompson. He doubled back beautifully.
He's looking good already, isn't he, Thompson? Jones, normally on the taller and bigger opponent, he does pretty well. We saw him in round one clean up Lance Whitnell, a quality forward, but Thompson, he's just been too strong in the air for him.
Well, I'm not sure he's in a much better position to shoot at goal, John Barker.
I've got to agree with you there, Hutto. Thompson, you know, he was in a better position, not much further out, unless he was didn't think he could kick the distance, which I know that he can. And you're finding Barker now on a much more acute angle.
We've seen Barker kick some pretty good goals this year.
And he's not bad from this side either. He likes the left to right, doesn't he?
He does. So, well, without being too confident about this one, I think Barker might, well, he obviously rates himself a chance because he's having a pen.
What a surprise packet he's been in the last couple of years for Hawthorn. Barker. He liked it off the boot, but it's gone across too far and behind. Just couldn't get the draw that he needed. So it does put the Hawks in front, but not in the way he would have liked.
Well, he had 3 opponents against Carlton last week, absolutely towed every single one of them up. So he's in very good form.
Metropolis with the job at full back. Fletcher calling for him to kick it down the centre of the ground.
He's got to go long. I don't know, the short one in the pocket. I reckon Hawthorn would give him that.
That's okay, isn't it, the first one? But as I mentioned before, it's the second one. If you can stop that one, then you've done your job.
Parker will kick to a contested half-back. Lee Brown and Carr, the dual targets. McCabe gets it over the line and out of bounds. And don't forget, you can follow all the fortunes of all the teams in the AFL on i7sport.com.au. All the latest news and information and scores on the World Wide Web. The score at the moment is Hawthorn up by a point. Norwich, good hand. Bootsma could have gone by hand, but he spotted Fletcher. Didn't quite sit for him. Well, by stealth, they almost got the ball eventually, the Dockers. Bell puts it into the space in front of the leading Modra, who's just pushed up the ground a little bit. Couldn't handle it. Harford, not much in support for Harford there. Having to go across ways to get the ball away. Clark, very clever for a player playing his 3rd game. Chick to half forward, Dixon. Barker again involved. Crowe's going to be the outlet handball, but it was a wild on one. Oh, lovely tap from Barker. Crowe should kick a goal. Had all the time in the world and hits the post.
Yeah, they need to finish off there. It was just unfortunate for Shane Parker. He had 2 to beat. It was 2-on-1, and he just slipped at the wrong moment and allowed Crowe to an easy release. It was very good play from Barker that just chipped it over, but it was really the ease of the shot at goal was caused by Parker's slip.
It's a good zone, this one. The Hawks have got. Really, the Dockers are finding it hard to get a target other than that short one in, as the boys have mentioned.
They have to come long, I think, the Carr. Yep.
Goes to Carr. He's got a bit of a competition here from Barker, but the kick was very well placed. Allows him to take it. He's got Lee Brown on the wing. McCabe will spoil. Just got there too late.
Already the style of the game is apparent. You see Hawthorn coming back into defence to try and flood, and there's been a lot of chip kicks. I think that's up to about 15 marks, for the Fremantle Dockers already.
Well, they go back in waves, don't they? The Hawks allow Fremantle to get it up to centre half forward. Metropolis' kick, good spoil from Joel Smith, and then they have numbers to run off half back. Lord almost caught. Bell, good work though by the Dockers to intercept Longmuir's kick, a bouncing one. Harford gets support from Graham off the ground. Good fight for it. Lecker's beaten comprehensively by Fletcher. McManus with space, with time, hooked it back, but he was always aligned with the behinds and just didn't bring it back enough.
Yeah, it was a great contest though on the half-forward line. Fletcher and Leckers. I regard Leckers as a very, very capable one-on-one player. He's very, very strong and very rarely falls down, but Fletcher just beat him comprehensively, as you called it then, Hutto.
Fletcher 8 possessions so far. Metropolis 5, Black 5. And Norwich 7, along with Bell 6, the leading possession getters for the Dockers at this stage. Tim Clark, what a player he could be. We all know about his pace, his speed is unbelievable. But he's got the footy smarts as well, it appears. Rawlings couldn't take it. Chick, well, 3 or 4 spectators there, it appeared. Chick was the man that wanted the ball. Dockers trying to work it around to get a clear kick. Bootsman's handball back is okay. Bell, Pavlich taking a couple of nice contested marks so far, which is a terrific sign.
They need to move it quickly though, don't they, to stop the Hawthorn players from getting back and just clogging up their forward line.
Well, they've made a bit of a switch in play on their own here. Bell had Carr, had Metropolis as the running player to go past him. from the car kick. Now he's just going to probably be forced to kick it long into a contest. Modra pushing back, but Graham read that beautifully.
Just doesn't work in their favour, does it, going that way? They really need to be hitting their targets on the lead.
Hay. Now Hawthorn have to wait for all their defenders to push forward, though. They haven't got a player leading into space. Now Clark leads into space at half forward, and that is a beautifully placed kick. And Clark is very strong. Takes a good grab, spent all of last year just trying to build up his body.
A lot more open the Hawthorn forward line than Fremantle's, Hutto.
Absolutely. Dixon might be the long target here. Kick seemed to come off the side of the boot a bit. Barker squeezed in the middle of all that. Crawford overrunning it. Fletcher, his work on the ground as always, very good. Good body work, allows Pachoni to come through, sets the pass up. Thompson was a couple of metres clear of Parker, and he takes the mark. And Jones had pushed down the ground to get to the earlier contest, and he was a long way from Thompson.
That was brilliant from Leckers. I think, you know, it won't go down as stat. It was go down as a bump, I guess. No, it wasn't Leckers. We just saw that player off the ball just provide a bit of space for Barker to pounce on the footy, and that was the reason why Pachoni was able to just to pop that one across. Good team play.
Well, let's see if this kick's better from Thompson. Doesn't look much better. 3 out of 3 behind so far. And really, that's made a significant difference on the scoreline. Hawthorn 1-5-11, Fremantle 1-3-9. And it's still pretty hard to work out how this game's going to go. These kick-outs are certainly proving tough for the Dockers. Metropolis, that's a good kick into the middle of the ground. Norwich needed runners going past then. At least they've got the ball moving into their attacking area a lot quicker. Bowyer was the extra man then, and now he comes in to help out. Pavlich, clever tap, just couldn't get it through to Hazelby, who just seems to be not quite running where the ball is at the moment. Bowyer. Leckers. A couple of options through centre half back. One was Pachoni, but he decides to run with it. Joel Smith has the time. Spotted Rawlings out wide.
You mentioned Hazelby just a minute ago, just at one possession so far for the game. He's having a bit of a quiet year this year.
Bit of a fumble in the middle of the ground from Leckers, but he gets it away. Pachoni. Now Bowyer, he's been good so far. This kick not quite where he would have liked. Thompson had to run the big arc, and is, well, did he throw that away?
Probably close to holding the ball, doesn't it? It's a good tackle from Metropolis. He's just finding the pace on Dixon just a little bit tough at the moment, but that time he certainly got hold of Thompson. I reckon he's thrown that ball away. That should have been a free kick.
Well, it certainly wasn't a forward pass. Thompson in front doing the ruck work here against Longmuir. Got a good fist away, Longmuir. Only Hawks there though. Bowyer, another possession. Dixon. Bounce handball, that time not as successful as the last one we saw from the Hawks. Tough for McManus, but he knew he had Longmuir, he just couldn't find him.
Well, it certainly is an arm wrestle. The thing that Hawthorn I don't think have done is they haven't broken a line. They've got guys back there like Smith who are very, very quick to get to top speed. They need to run forward straight at their goals, 10 metres to try and break a line rather than just chip the ball around on the half-back line.
Again, Longmuir and Thompson. Thompson got that tap. Bootsma. Cook versus Tallis. Tallis has done pretty well so far, and he does well again, but Hazelby able to intercept. Work the ball back to Bell. Pavlich one-on-one with Rawlings. What a battle that's going to be throughout the day. Smith, another good battle against Heath Black, a talented player for the Dockers. Fumble from Tallis allows Bell in, who certainly made sure he got the free kick.
They need to give him the ball very quickly, Hutto, because we know the Hawks will get back there. He's been forced to come across ground again.
Well, I guess they need to spot someone up on 50 who can kick the ball a long way at goal.
Like Stuart Dew, unfortunately, plays for Port Adelaide.
Wrong team.
I reckon Heath Black be the one to try and give it to. Here he is now. He's sort of in the action.
Yeah, not quite though. It was meant for Modra. Joel Smith working it back. Hay loves to bomb the ball in that situation. Carr had their sit there. Leckers coming through, big Daniel Bandy. Maybe he can bomb one through from out there. Bootsma sets the ball up. He kicked it high into space. Tough for the forwards. Waterhouse and Modra both flew. Pavlich was down there as well. Leckers takes it away. The Hawks on the rebound. Crawford waited because he had no one clearly to kick it to. Now he has John Barker. Just couldn't sit for him. Good race though. Barker not bad with the toe. Gets it into the pocket. Beautiful pass. Throw. Yes, gets a free kick for hanging on.
Well, the delivery of the ball by the Hawthorn players going into the forward line is much better, and also they've got a more open forward line, so it's allowing their forwards to run into it. Was great pressure though there from is that Grover?
Yep.
Good pressure. Unfortunately, he's just giving the free kick away.
I reckon Crawford set that up though. He attacked their goals. He went straight at the goals from the half-back line, Maney, and that allowed the ball to get into the Hawks forward line a lot quicker.
So Trent Crode. Oh, well, they continue their ordinary kicking a goal. What's your view on Trent Crode? Ben, is he better suited forward or back?
Well, I know he played a lot of his junior footy as a full forward. I'd love to see him play full forward for a period of time because I think he's capable of kicking big bags. He's very flexible, we know.
McManus. Daniel Bandy had the height over McCabe and didn't try and take the mark. He had good ground level support. Question over whether that was a tap or a throw, but Bell gets it up towards half forward. Pavlich, Rawlings, well, a little bit of luck involved in that, but it was pretty smart thinking. Barlow pushing to the other side of the ground.
No one within 50 metres of him, Hutto.
Told to run on by Aaron Lord. Lurking again is Barker. He'll be third on the scene here. The recovery all important. Should be able to kick it through from there. Well, he did kick it through, but he kicked it through for another behind. You'd think it was blowing a gale down there, wouldn't you? The way they're missing their shots at goal. 1-7 to 1-3.
And they're using a lot of energy on a very hot day, Hutto. They need to convert because, well, these points could prove very costly.
Tough one for Bell. Wasn't a great kick from McManus, and Bell would be very happy to get a free kick there. Siren sounds, one of the most low-scoring quarters you'd ever want to see. It's 1-1 here. 139 to 1713. The margin is 4 points.
Yeah, well, on a hot day, I reckon Fremantle would be pretty happy with that. Hawthorn have used up a hell of a lot of energy, and they've kicked 7 points. Could be wasted, could be costly.
Well, we'll be back with the second quarter in a moment. The Hawks and the Dockers. The Hawks leading here by 4 points. Well, both sides resting under the shade of the light towers here at Subiaco. It's very hot. Going for the goal kickers don't take too long at the moment either. 139 Fremantle, 1713 Hawthorn.
The AFL, in association with its premier partner, Carlton and United, proudly presents the 2001 Premiership season.
What's your impression so far, Ben and Chris, of the game?
Well, I think
wasted opportunities really for the Hawks, hasn't it been?
Yeah, certainly. 7 points in a quarter, and they weren't hard shots, were they? I mean, Crode missed a couple, Thompson missed a couple set shots. It was pretty costly, and I think in the heat of the day and in the heat of the match, it'd be worrying signs for Swab.
A couple of other matches going on today, and some stations taking replays, so if you don't want to know the scores, look away. Adelaide versus Port Adelaide, and the West Coast Eagles against St Kilda. Look away now.
Right on the tip of my tongue. Right on the tip of my tongue. On the tip of my tongue.
Damien Drum giving it to the Dockers. Let's go down to Barra.
Thanks, Hutto. Yes, pretty pumped up the Dockers. They know that they've done well that quarter to hold the Hawks off in their scoring potential. Could have kicked 7 extra goals. Still pretty warm down here. The breeze has come in, though. There is good news. There will be some relief now. The breeze has come in. Gets down to man management by the sound of it over at Hawthorn. They rested Chick, Wren, Harford and Crowe during that quarter, so they know that they're in for a long game and that it's going to be hot late in the game as well. And the Dockers held back Bandy and rested Hazelby. So that's the name of the game, I think. I think you may have lost me there, but that's the name of the game. Man management. Back to you, Hutto.
Thanks, Adrian. You lost it, but we didn't.
Well, the difference is the Fremantle Dockers are rotating their midfield players in the forward line. We've seen Hazelby, Bell and Cook and Fletcher all having spells on the half-forward line after their run in the middle, whereas the Hawks are rotating their players on and off the bench.
It's surprising not to see Daniel Chick picking up Peter Bell, because he used to do that when Bell was at North Melbourne and had a lot of success. So Bell's been very good. Perhaps they need to make that move.
Second quarter from Subiaco. Hawthorn leading by 4 points. It wasn't a great bounce in the end. Chick and Cook, the unlikely ruckman. Wren providing the roving, but a free kick coming back to Daniel Harford for some hanging on against Hazelby. Harford getting the ball moving pretty quickly. Barker was lurking there in front. He just took that mark so cleanly. Crow leads to the right. That's where the kick goes. Jones pushing back to try and help out, but he couldn't.
Metropolis is hurt in that marking duel with Barker, Hutto. He's got up very gingerly. Hope it's not a recurrence of the hamstring that he's had, the hamstring problems that he's had. But yeah, Barker, he looks very, very strong on the lead, doesn't he? Very hard to stop.
Crowd looked extremely confident there about his chances. He was looking to lay it off, but now he's set and ready to have a shot for goal. And as close as you can get. Another poster, that's 2 for Crow.
We saw both the Hawthorn forwards, they're actually taking the ball out in front. And the Fremantle Dockers, their defenders, have just got to stand in front, I reckon, Ben, and just try and read the play. They're allowing the Hawthorn players to lead them to the ball. And it's just way too easy for them at the moment.
So 1-8, playing 1-3. Again, the short kick allowed in. It's the next one we're looking at. Onto the wing along Muir, beaten by Barker. Free kick, push out, bit of shepherding, I think, against Sean Wren.
That's very soft, I reckon. It was 2-on-1, and there was a little bit of body contact, but the umpire was right there, I suppose.
Yes, Johnny Barker didn't look all that impressed by the decision, but not going to matter too much. It wasn't a great kick at all, was it?
He's a good sport.
Bell versus Wren's not really the right option, is it? And that was a terrible kick.
Almost as bad from Sean Wren, but Dixon able to keep it alive. He set Lord up quite a bit. Barker been influential so far. Brilliant tackle from Bell. Umpire saying that Barker made the
on the full.
Disposed of it. Out on the full, though.
Yep.
Free kick. Going Hawthorn's way.
Just come off Grover's foot. And Dixon will take it.
Crowd makes a lead into the forward pocket. He goes shorter to Harford. Wren running across the mark. The umpire coming in and just warning him.
It does look lacklustre, though, the Hawthorn forward line. I reckon they're feeling the pinch with this heat.
Oh, there's
good little lead.
Yeah, there was a bit of too much space, really, wasn't there?
And the beauty about it is he just held on to the ball. He just kept waiting for the leads to come to him. And eventually that's what's going to happen. The players, their minds will go off the job, as they did with the Dockers then. And it was just 2 of their players. They had 2 options to take the mark, and it's young Clark, is it?
Yep, Tim Clark.
Yeah, it looks like he's just, he's caught one in that mark. The wind's been taken out of him, but he's taken a few deep breaths. He'll be fine.
Interesting having a chat with Daniel Chick yesterday, and he was talking about, we all know how good of a runner young Clark is, but he's talking then Daniel Chick can run too. I mean, he can do a 400 as quick as Kathy Freeman. But he said in the 1,500 metres, this bloke can overlap him.
Yep, unbelievable times he's recorded. He's kicked 1 goal in his career. Now he's got 2. He shows the old guard how to do it.
Well, that's better. I mean, a set shot from there, even though you're a young player, you should be able to execute. But the signs have been good for Hawthorn, even in the opening minutes of this second term. Wren's been pretty good in the ruck. He's tried a different tact, just changing the angle on Longmuir in the ruck. And I think that's been the reason why the Hawks have been able to get the first one out of the centre. So Wren's in for a big game. He's got a chance to take on a young player and expect him to have an influence.
So the margin out to 11 points.
And young Green's now onto the field, playing on the half-forward flank.
Gee, another ordinary bounce. Wren getting the tap down. Clark. It's just such a bonus when you can get a young player like a Clark and a year into his career at the club to come in and
have an impact straight
have
away.
An impact, yeah.
Hawks have got all their guns in the middle. They've got Wren, of course, in the ruck, but they've got Harford, Crawford and Chick, the 3 others in that centre bounce. So they realise the importance of the opening minutes of the second quarter.
Another ordinary bounce. Chick doing the ruck work that time. Clark again involved. Oh,
Great
that is
mark.
a telling mark by Carr. In the middle of a contest. His kick looks pretty good too for McManus, who's got Cook to Shepherd and allows him to run clear. Uses Cook in the end. Just bombs to centre half forward. It wasn't a great kick really for the Fremantle forwards. Fletcher had to turn defender on Tallis, but he couldn't stop him. And the runners are out on the other side of the ground. Lord pushing up. Crawford. Back to Lord. Barlow in support if he needs him. Goes shorter to Bowyer.
They do chip it around, don't they, Hawthorn? They give you an opportunity.
It's young Green, in fact, getting his kick up the centre half forward. He'll have another chance here. Metropolis going for the boundary line. Goes in after it again. Got a handball away that time. Fletcher. Nothing after the tackle. Goes again. Barlow tries to harass. Fletcher found a path through to Hazelby. All one-on-one contest down there. Rawlings made the spoil. It was all over Pavlich, who did pretty well. Gets away. He's got Longmuir loose at centre half forward. He didn't find him. Went for Norwich instead. It was a good mark under the circumstances, but if he had been able to hit Longmuir, who was inside 50, it just might have set them up for a chance to score.
He was going for Longmuir,
Yeah.
There's no question about that.
It's not a pretty game, is it? The skill level's pretty bad at the moment. They're not finding their targets and they're just dropping the ball a lot.
Waterhouse made a strong lead at it. No mark paid. Doesn't matter. The Hawks combining well by hand. Now Graham onto the wing.
That's an easy release.
Yep, it is an easy release. There's loose man everywhere to his right, but he goes straight down the middle looking for Crow. Good spoil, important spoil for the Dockers on Norwich. First option was the best. Oh, boys, surely that was either in the back or holding the ball. Had to be one or the other.
Well, they've paid, at least 3 holding the ball decisions when the tackles come from behind, and I don't see any difference between that one and the previous 3. Barker, it was just interesting. Brown allowed Barker to come right up the ground, similar to what he did with Tarrant last week when the Dockers played Collingwood.
Crawford just banging onto the boot. Dockers in good position here. He backed himself, Carr.
Ooh, he was off, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
Hey.
Umpire very friendly that time.
A short one out wide.
Yep, Grover. Can run a bit here if he wants to. Got good support from Cook. Again, though, the Hawks pushing back across half-back. Wren, Harford, Tallis been good off half-back through the middle of the ground. Barlow, Crawford, low pass, not much on there. Oh, Bell overran it. Fumble from Brown. Hawks everywhere. Kick smothered. Good defence, and now they're away. Cook. Really is a matter of, it's one of these games just bouncing off half-back, isn't it, like basketball? It goes from one end to the other, and it's a matter of whether you can get the ball in or not. We're seeing a lot of that these days. Longmuir goes for Pavlich. Spoil again down to Wren. And here we go again. Hawthorn.
This is the important kick, Hutto. If you can execute a kick here to a forward on the lead, you're going to have a shot at goal.
Tallis's kick, it was a much better looking forward line because it was pretty open as compared to the Dockers. And holding on there. Free kick going Fremantle's way. Parker to take it quickly. He's got Metropolis who can run from half-back. Hazelby's up. It should be pushing to be an option at half-forward with McManus. They can raffle it. Hazelby could have run on then. Didn't. Waterhouse is down if he wants to go long. He goes short to Modra. Couldn't get to it. McManus can go back to Hazelby if he wants to. Tried Fletcher instead. Now Hazelby. And they work it across half forward. Quick kick from Bell. Wren's in the road again. Waterhouse couldn't get there. Wren paid the mark. And you'll have to take it. No advantage from a mark.
It's that situation I was talking about before where Wren just pops himself back there, and Clive Waterhouse has just got to get himself in the game. He's just got to forget about perhaps trying to go for the big specky mark at the moment, Ben, and just get himself a possession. He's been out of the game for a long time, and he's not of much use to the Fremantle forwards at the moment.
So here's Tim Clark. Hawks leading by 11. It's a good kick. That is a terrific kick right under the wing. Barlow.
Wide.
Yeah, he's got Chick on the other side. And then the next kick is the one into 50. Bowyer at centre half forward. No, he went short at the Crawford.
Great
well tackled.
Yep.
And holding the ball. Bootsma rewarded for good tackling.
I know Shane Parker's your favourite player in the Dockers, but this is my favourite player, Brad Bootsma. I just love the way he goes about his ball. He's hard at it. And I reckon he's probably been the Dockers' best player so far this year.
Fletcher to half forward. Pavlich. Well done by Rawlings. Become one of the really good top solid tall defenders in the AFL. Crawford the centre half forward. Oh Lord, his mind was already moving on to his next possession. Crawford off the ground, very clever. Saw Chick clear, got Thompson inboard, goes to him. Oh,
At least hit the target forward someone. This is ridiculous. The skills is, I don't know whether it's the heat, Hutto, but they're getting easy possessions, easy releases, but just forward of the centre, it's been terrible, the skills.
yeah, it's the way Hawthorn play this way a lot though, with just letting the other team come back. And then it is, as you said, it's then up to the skills to be able to hit your target. Graham got the spoil away.
It's just rebound football at the moment. It's just going from one end to the other. Nobody is at all asserting themselves.
And you do wonder the impact of the heat as the day wears on. Lord.
Maybe they just got to take their time a little bit. If they're getting from defence into attack reasonably quickly. Just when you get to this area, just take your time. It's not bad play what they're doing. They're just trying to set up a foray into attack, and they certainly haven't rushed it. So they've just got to execute from here. This is the important kick from Thompson.
Well, Freo have worked back pretty well. It's all one-on-one though down there, so there could be a bit of space. Greenwaite's down, the ball goes loose. Crawford, clever tap. Still outside 50 though. That was well spotted by Harvard.
Oh, there's someone been fell behind play.
There has too.
I don't know if we're going to get a camera on it.
Bootsman's had a crack at Barker, and it's going to be 50.
Yep.
And I reckon it's a case of the second person getting caught too, Ben.
Yep, I think Norris was involved.
Freo will be hoping here that a Hawthorn player is silly enough to throw a punch, and it could be reversed if he is. Not mentioning any names there, Trent Crowe.
I didn't know whether you were going to. I was going to leave it to you there, Hutto.
Well, the goal was kicked.
It's probably been about the only exciting part of the football so far today, because there hasn't been much, has it, Ben? I mean, it's probably been the worst game certainly we've seen here at Subiaco Oval this year. The skill level has been absolutely dreadful, and except for that situation there where he was able to find Chick, that was great vision. But it seemed to be the person who retaliated second was on the receiving end of that 50-metre penalty. But in the end, Hawthorn have got the goal. And they lead now 3 goals 8 to 1 goal 3.
Well, we just saw, I think it was Norwich, was it, who went down and was in that replay. There'll be a few interesting replays to have a look at during the week, just for a change. 3-8 to 1-3.
Crawford's come off for a break as well, so continuing the rotation, the Hawks.
Thompson in the ruck now. Bell. Fletcher went without it.
It's been pretty quiet in the second quarter as opposed to the first quarter's Fletcher for the Dockers.
Just talking about the rotation, boys, too. Crawford's on the bench, Leckers, Dixon and Thompson. They've got 4 stars on the bench, Hawthorn, saving them up.
Bandy coming on the ground. Has gone forward, maybe to try and provide another marking target for them. Thompson emerging with it. Barker works his way into good position. In fact, it's young McFarlane who's come on the ground as part of the rotation. Handball goes back to him, bangs it onto the boot. Well, this is 2-on-1 here. If he can get the ball to ground, Barker, he doesn't need the supported play, and just stroll in and kick a goal. He showed it to him. He's going to cop it after that.
It's a free kick. There's a free kick.
I think Metropolis might be in trouble here. He's going to get another free kick.
Pushed.
Well,
that's what you were insinuating a couple of minutes ago, Hutto, with the bit of the brawl, and well, it's happened.
Well, let's have a. This is extraordinary. I mean,
this is a bit of show-off sort of tactics. I don't know if I agree with this totally. I mean,
Don't agree with it at all.
No, it's only early parts of the game. The game's not over and won yet, but it certainly worked because Daniel Metropolis has conceded another goal, and
2 for the price of 1 for John Barker. And that really, as Metropolis, I think, is coming off the ground.
Well, the push was clearly there, and it was high and it was late. So the free kick was definitely there. So I guess when it all falls down, the umpires made the correct decision.
They've taken Metropolis off the ground, as you can see, and Grover's gone on.
And I tell you what, the next couple of minutes for Fremantle is very, very important. Yeah, I mean, I reckon Barker's thrown himself a little bit, but the free was definitely there.
Well, it's anything but boring at the moment.
It's lifted its rating.
Wonder what Parko thinks up in the box. 5-8 to 1-3. How will Fremantle respond to this? I guess how will Hawthorn as well, but will they have cooler heads than they've shown so far? Well, certainly than Daniel Metropolis did then. Paccioni wheeling his way through the middle. Hawks with a run, with the momentum. Harford into a pretty open forward line. Here's Johnny Barker. What sort of reception will he get? Laid it off to Clark. Little sidestep. Great play.
Great hands.
Could have lined them up himself. Handball to Crode, and his kick wasn't great.
Notwithstanding the last 2 goals that Johnny Barker has kicked, I reckon he's really toweling Brown up, just on the lead, and if anyone looks like kicking a bag, it's Barker. I know he's kicked the last 2, as I mentioned, but I think they need to make a change. I'd be putting Jones onto Barker and just doing a blanket job on him.
Well, they've kicked the last 4 goals, so that's a real worrying sign for Fremantle. Young Walker's gone down there for a bit of pace. He's playing on green now.
Carr, the target, a long target, down there with Bandy as well. Norwich cleared it to centre-half forward. A bouncing one, Pavlich couldn't handle it. Waterhouse, haven't really seen him in the game so far.
Oh, too high.
Copped a high tackle there, and the umpire further down the ground saw it, so that's well spotted.
Probably lucky to get away with it. The tackle had been on from behind, he would have been caught. But certainly good to see Clive in the game. He hasn't seen much of the ball.
Just slipped over his shoulder, didn't he, McCabe? He looked like the technique was pretty good. One thing's for sure here, Hutto, distance won't be a problem.
Well,
although he's getting very close to the man on the mark.
They desperately need this goal, and he's got it right through the middle. It sails. Goal of the Dockers.
I'll tell you what, he's got a good hop on him, hasn't he? I mean, he only took 2 or 3 steps then, and he's kicked it probably 55 metres. We see Jason Norris coming off for Brad Wirra, and I saw Adrian Fletcher coming off for Troy Cook. So obviously the heat is certainly having an effect on a lot of the players out there, and both coaches from both sides are using the interchange bench pretty well. And we just saw that, well, whether you could call it a lazy free kick there where he got over the top of him. Probably fortunate, but Clive will give him a little bit of confidence now, and hopefully we'll see a little bit more of him in the game.
Well, that's one of the 2 back for Fremantle. Bandy coming late at it. Thompson got it down. They've been winning out of the middle in this quarter. Thompson doing his own roving. Blasting it long. Crow one-on-one with Parker. He did the bodywork terrifically there, Crow. Just couldn't quite finish off his work by taking the mark. Leckers handle, lots of Hawks. Dixon can run in. Thought about the handball, doesn't need to. Kicks it through. An easy goal.
I've got to ask the question, Ben, where was the Fremantle defenders there? Because there was a mass of Hawthorn players. When that ball hit the ground there would have been, I reckon, a 2-to-1 advantage. Yeah,
they bolted forward from the middle there, Maney. They've got a sniff that the forwards are going to get on the end of the ball, and why not run forward when there was a great handball from Leckers, just set Dixon up, and it was smart play not to kick straight away. He realised there was space in front of him, just made sure of it, and kicked it from a couple of metres out.
Well, it's become a 5-goal-to-1 quarter, and we're only just over the halfway mark. Bowyer, swing and a miss. Hazelby. Cook wheeled his way through. Bootsma kicked it into the space in front of Modra. That's much better football. The Hawks had pushed back across half-back there, but there was no one in the space in front of Modra, so that was a much better lead, and a great kick by your boy, Brady Bootsma.
Yeah, and it was a very good shepherd there by Black in the middle of the centre square. He just got the Hawthorn play, which gave Bootsma all the time to deliver the ball to Tony Modra. And the first goal we saw a moment ago was the first goal disposal inside the 50 for this quarter, so this is basically the second one. So we haven't seen a lot of it down in this part of the ground for the Dockers.
Well, they've been efficient in the last minute or two. Modra kicks the goal. Fremantle's third.
It was a great kick from Bootsma. We know you like him, Maney, but it's also the first kick that someone's got it in the central part of the ground and they've gone straight at the goals in clear space. It makes a huge difference when you've got someone like Tony Modra. He's got space to run into, and the ball goes about head high, about 50 metres. Just very, very difficult to defend, and that's what Bootsma's brought to this team.
So Modra's first goal reduces the margin back to 24. Chia player's been important for the Hawks in this quarter. 11 possessions. Daniel Harford. Bandy won that tap. Pachoni clearing it out into the space. Green is the man pursuing for
Walker.
The Hawks on Walker. Walker over the top. Umpire letting it all go. Now he's calling for the bounce.
I just thought James Walker then probably could have headed that ball towards the boundary line just a little bit closer there. He took the risk of keeping it inside play, and Hawthorn could have been away with it, but he got back on the ball and has been able to hold it up.
i7sport.com.au. Richard Osborne in the chat room later on tonight if you want to get online. All the latest footy information. Cook, Chick, sun in the eyes there. Tallis made the late run at it. Brown coming through. Bell. Waterhouse pushing back. Hay. Modra holding on to Graham to hold him back. Waterhouse kicking second goal in a couple of minutes. Almost.
Yeah, at least he's provided a little bit of spark.
He's getting in the play now, isn't he?
But I reckon it's a good idea for to give Bandy a run in the ruck. We know he's very, very fit. He's been down on confidence this year. Hasn't had a great start to the year, but especially in the heat of the game, the game is the weather is very, very tiring on the players. Give him a run around, let Thompson try and keep up with him.
Oh, Jonathan from behind to take that mark. That was a fantastic effort.
Yeah, full tilt.
Just take a look at this. Just the one-on-one with Pavlich and his opponent there, and Hay was just able to nick around the front.
Bandy has best position here. Couldn't hang on to it.
Got to be stronger overhead, doesn't he?
He's got a free though. At least well, I reckon he attacked the ball pretty well then. He caught one for his efforts. Hutto doesn't agree.
Up to centre half forward. What a terrific grab from Thompson.
That's how you attack it.
Rawlings in the space. Up to centre half forward. Crawford. Oh, he couldn't hang on to it. Lord there with him. Running past his green. Piccioni. Hazelby. Good tackling on Walker. Really wrapped him up. Cook's away though. And he's got some space in front of him. We're telling him to come on, but Pavlich had to beat two Hawks then. Hay, well tackled, but he did well to get the handball away. And now they're clear through centre half back. Thompson. Low kick to Green. He's got runners on either side of him. Dixon leads one way, but he goes longer and stronger up towards full forward. Good defensive work by Carr, getting it towards the boundary line. Clark tried too hard in the end to keep it in. He was surrounded by Dockers.
Hutto, just an update on the injury situation down here. Justin Longmuir is on the bench for the Dockers, and that's why Bandy's in the ruck. Longmuir hurt his ankle and may not play the rest of the game. They're trying to do some work on it now.
Gee, that's going to hurt them with the rotation of Thompson and Wren to come up against. Norwich in good position on the wing to come over the top of Piccioni. Judged it beautifully. Now the run of Black through centre half back. Hazelby was an option. Oh, he's better look up Hazelby because he's going to have to provide some support here for Waterhouse. Oh, he got that handball up beautifully, releasing Black, who kept on running. How will he use the ball? Pavlich in the square, one-on-one with Rawlings. Well done, Pavlich. Got to the front. Couldn't get it though, and Thompson concedes the behind.
What a brilliant handball from Paul Hazelby. It was just amazing the peripheral vision that the kid must have for him to allow that left-hand handball over to Black, allowed him to run into space. Just brilliant play. We know he's been quiet today, but he possesses some skills that not many players of this league have.
Joel Smith. That is very short.
Not much run from the Hawks. They look a bit tired. I mean, both sides do look a bit tired, but there's just no one running. Thompson's going out to the outer side for the long option, although Pavlich is with him, but there's just no run from Hawthorn at all.
That's amazing there, wasn't it? There was just no movement. Just went to a contest, almost the mark to Crawford. Bell kept it in beautifully and emerges inside 50. How's the accuracy on the kick? Looked a bit sloppy off the boot. Just misses. It seemed to be swinging back the right way, didn't it?
Well, if there was no movement before, everybody had sort of stopped here when Peter Bell had a look at this. Oh, well, no wonder they'd stopped because it's gone miles out of bounds. He was lucky to get away with that, wasn't he?
And it wasn't if the boundary line was in the wrong spot. He was... Oh,
couldn't have been any closer, could he? Maybe he was too close.
I think a visit to Just Spectacles or something this week might come in handy for that boundary umpire.
Well, he's into the play again. Let's have a look at his boundary throw-in technique. We'll watch him closely for the afternoon. Oh, beautiful boundary throw-in. Exquisite stuff. Bandy got the tap down. Hay. Bandy couldn't wrap him up as he would have liked. Piccioni in the Crawford handball, looking for someone to lay it off to. Eventually he finds that someone, Raiden Tallis. Just an easy sidestep. He's strolling towards centre half forward. Crawford just bombs it long. Brown pushing back to help out. Good spoil from Parker. And it's over and out.
Hutto, the heat is really taking its toll down here. It's like slow motion. You just watch the guys come off. Hazelby's coming off now. They've all got those ice packs on. The fans are on. This is really kicking in now.
Have you got an ice pack on down there, Barrow?
I'm thinking about it. Don't worry about that.
6-9 playing 3-6. Getting towards the latter stage of this first half. He's over the top of it, Walker.
Mate, I reckon at that time when the Hawks are able to bring the ball through the middle, Dockers have just got to go and put the pressure on the ball carrier. They seem to be standing off a little bit too far, and then that's just allowing the Hawthorn players to dictate terms.
Bandy, put the tap down. Lord, trying to find room to have a shot for goal. Clark, still they're going backwards. Lekas just missed it where he would have liked to. He was trying to find Green. Walker, boundary line, I think was primarily in his mind, although Norwich was running clear there.
It just seems that Hawthorn always seem to have more options when they've got hold of the ball, whereas with Fremantle they always only seem to have one option.
Yeah, you're right. They're getting numbers around the footy, aren't they? But what would you do if you were drum in the match committee, Maney? Is there any moves you reckon they could make to try and get them back in the game? Because at the moment, I reckon it's time wasting at the moment.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you really need some of the midfielders have really got to push forward because they're just not doing that. They're not getting up there and helping out any options.
Well, they did that pretty well. The little fumble from Carr, but it won't hurt them. Bandy.
I mean, do you take a Carr and bring him up into the forward line because he can play up forward just to give them another option? Put Daniel Bandy all the way. You've got to leave him in the ruck, really.
Into the middle of the ground. Waterhouse! Welcome back, Clive. Where are you, Dennis?
And you get Clive to keep taking a few of those.
Jones. Low kick. Pavlich in front. Just couldn't mark it, but he had good support from Carr. Maybe he heard you. He's running into the forward line. I thought he was going to pump for goal then. Tough one off. Fumble from Modra. And not out of bounds. That's out of bounds.
Unless you hit the target in that situation when they go forward, Ben, it's a useless kick, isn't it?
Have another look at Clive.
Oh, that's great. That's what you come to the football to see. And Dennis is not here to see.
Jones can set that up into the square. Oh, that's a great grab by Hay.
Crawford's on the outer side. He's running hard for Hay.
There's a couple out there. Barker as well. And Tallis. Barker went for the shepherd. He missed, but he did enough just to clear the path. Oh, Fletcher. Great interception. Got Bootsma through the middle. Instead, he draws the player and allows Wirra. Looking for Cook. Fletcher can do it all again. Norwich is the short option. Bandy's up forward as a target for him. Pavlich another one. Modra down in the square. He'll be too far away.
Finding it very hard to penetrate, aren't they, Fremantle?
Oh, he goes to Carr, who had the beautiful run there and takes the mark.
It's the second time we've seen him come forward in the last couple of minutes, and he's been very handy on both occasions.
Cook went very early. Gave away a free. It just probably wasn't the right option in the end.
No, I just think Carr just rushed it a bit, didn't he? Should have realised that Cook was going to be 2-on-1 against, and just another easy release. Look at Chick on the wing. Fletcher nowhere near him.
Heaps of space. Well, Chick will look up and he will only see, well, no, he's got Lekas on his own through the middle. So the Dockers needing to push back here because there's plenty of space for the Hawks forward to lead into. Crode makes his lead. Although looked at each other, the two Hawks players. McFarlane was running back, Crode running forward. They just weren't sure. And there's a great releasing kick. Now Fletcher, can he use the ball this time? The Hawks have still got extra men back across half-back. So even though Fletcher was in the clear, didn't mean he had anything distinctive to go to. Some of the players just look like they can't move out there in this heat. Barker unloading for Crode. Parker late on the scene. Made the spoil. Crawford pushing through. It's out.
This is where, in difficult conditions, you need someone just with a little bit of poise. And Harford, I think, I know he's out on the ground. He'd be the danger one, I reckon, if I was Damien Drum. If he gets the ball in his hands around the forward line, he can set up a goal for the Hawks.
Not long to go, though, in this second quarter. Bandy, Bell. They have to be good here, the Dockers, to try and stop Hawthorn. It looks like they'll do the job okay. Siren sound for half-time. Pretty good quarter by Hawthorn. They kicked 5 goals. Fremantle could only kick 2. And at the major break, Hawthorn have managed to open up a handy lead in these conditions, these hot conditions. 21 points. 6-9-45. They lead the Fremantle Dockers to Subiaco 3-6-24. Well, it's a very warm day at Subiaco and Hawthorn and Fremantle. Well, the Hawks are already out on the ground and the Dockers are about to re-enter the arena here with the Hawks leading 6-9-45 to 3-6-24. And Ben and Chris, we saw some pretty interesting incidents in the first half, but none more than Johnny Barker, I think as I said at the time, 2 for the price of 1.
You'd be happy to be on the receiving end, wouldn't you, Maney?
Yeah.
It was, look, I think when you turn around and give it to your opponent like that, that's as bad as it gets as far as I'm concerned.
Well, you deserve it pushing the back for showing off in a way, but it's not the right thing to do either by Daniel Metropolis, because you've really conceded another goal, and it's way too easy. It's hard enough as it is, Ben. We're talking about the scoreline as it is. I mean, Fremantle have only scored 3. You know, it's going to be hard for them to get back into the game, so it just really wasn't warranted, but bad.
Free was definitely there. I think the umpires made the correct decision. It's definitely late, and maybe a tad high. Yep.
Definitely poor form anyway, Anthony.
Look, Barker kicks the goal, gets two goals in a minute, and that in a match which has been pretty low scoring, that could make a big difference.
Huge difference. Where they're going to get the goals from, both teams definitely need a spark. Waterhouse perhaps from Fremantle, but Parker's been pretty good up forward for them.
Well, do you give them any hope?
Not on the way they're playing at the moment. They wouldn't have to. They'd have to make some changes, like you sort of thought. I think perhaps even bring Clive Waterhouse a bit up the play onto a half-forward line and get him into the play, because you need that spark, don't you?
Yeah, they have looked very, very flat both sides, and I think that's a consequence of the conditions. But just rotate your players around. But they need a spark, whether it's Clive, whether it's Pavlich forward for Fremantle. Hopefully one of those two players can lift for them.
What about you, Barrett? What do you reckon down there? Are they still a chance, the Dockers?
I reckon there's certainly a chance to being the local team. This weather's going to really kick in on the Hawks late in this game. I reckon you'd think the Dockers would come home a bit better, but they're coming from a long way back. The news from the rooms, Justin Longmuir is okay. He's taped up his left ankle and looks like he will be able to play the rest of the game. Like a war zone in the rooms, though. It was incredible. Blokes with their jumpers off, lying on the ground, taking in water, wearing the ice vest. Fans were on. Very oppressive conditions down here. A lot of water being consumed. And I reckon this game could just drag on and on and on for these players out there. It's just going to be so hard for them in the... it's about 28, 29 degrees, they're saying. And no Fremantle doctor, no breeze has come in just yet. So we're praying for that down here. Like I said, hard to predict, but you think the locals would feel better about the conditions, and certainly in their rooms they're pretty confident that they can have a better showing in the second half, and they think that perhaps the Hawthorn's poor kicking at goal could pay against them later in the game, but could go either way. Hutto, back to you for the second half.
Thanks for that, Adrian. It's Maney here, but anyway, Daniel Bandy's gone forward, Ben, so perhaps that's the move that Fremantle are going to make. A tall half forward.
Third quarter underway at Subiaco. Big leap from Longmuir, who's back on the ground. Black, a high one. Fletcher, very attacking stuff. Got the ride. Hazelby, long Modra. He could see the ball was going to the back, and he just couldn't capitalise on it. You could see that he knew what to do.
Smart move, wasn't it, really? And if he just could have got that ball, he would have been out. But there we see Adrian Fletcher. He's a very good mark for his size, Adrian Fletcher. We often see him taking some good marks. But again, the ball came out of the centre. Well done to Longmuir. Got a quick tap away. And I noticed that Heath Black has gone into the centre also.
So Wren wrestling with Bandy. Double fister. Straight over the line again.
Got to be a bit stronger in those one-on-one duels, Daniel Bandy with Wren there. You wouldn't exactly call Sean Wren big in the muscle department.
6'9" to 3'6". Again, it's Bandy and Wren. Oh, he got it down. Fletcher. McManus back with the flight. Was strong at the footy. Trying to get to his feet. It's a free kick. Was that against Modra?
It must have been Brown as a recipient.
Now, Dockers didn't need that. That's not a great kick, though. Well done, Hazelby. Got hand to the ball. Joel Smith along the line. And it bounces before going out.
Pretty good kick from Smith in the end. He's done that off one step with no room to manoeuvre, and he's just had the skill to just land that ball a metre inside the boundary and trickle out of bounds. So it's definitely out of the danger area for the Hawks.
The old fan there, I'm sure it'll make a huge difference down on the interchange bench on a day like today. Numbers with the Dockers at ground level. Black got it to Bell, and now Carr. The lead came from Waterhouse, centre half forward. Honours that one.
That's the Dockers' strength, is around the packs and on the ground, and they've been able to get the ball out quickly.
Oh, Modric just went a little bit to ground just before the ball quite got there. Just didn't quite get the target. This is Bowyer now. Smith to come in and assist Hay. Waterhouse. He started his second half.
He's on.
Yes, he is on in enterprising fashion. He can call McManus back onto it. As he stands there with his hands in his hips.
I think he wanted it.
Oh, I wanted that one.
It's a good sign, though. I reckon just
Confidence by Sean McManus.
Yeah, it was, but it's a good sign that Hazelby's he really wanted that ball, and it's just always a good sign when a young bloke has got He's anxious to get his hands on the ball. He got a kick early away.
Thought he might have edged him out of the contest then.
Yeah, well, they need to spark the Dockers, and they've got it from Waterhouse in the opening minutes of this term.
McManus needs to convert the Dockers' confidence. Starts it in the right spot, and it steers through. So they've got the first one.
Well, I reckon the key to the Fremantle Dockers getting back into this game is their midfielders and their small brigade. I reckon they've got a better midfield outfit than what Hawthorn have, and in this heat, the legs are certainly going to play an important part. I reckon Black being moved into the centre, being on the ball, I think he's going to add a lot of balance, and they've gone with both Bell and Cook still in the middle there too. But Sean McManus, we haven't seen a lot of him, although we haven't seen a lot of Bauer either, who I thought was very good last week. But it's exactly the start they needed in this third quarter.
So they're within striking range at 15 points. Kicked 3 of the last 4 goals as well. Bell out of the middle, pushing wide Bandy against McFarlane. Oh, Bandy overrunning it. McFarlane handling it much more surely. Uses Crawford. Turned around, there was no one in front of him. Didn't have to worry about going back.
Oh, that was well done by Brown to get back.
It was. Bootsma off the left. Picks out a man again in Bell. Up to Fletcher. So Bandy in short up on the wing, but he might go longer where Pavlich and Waterhouse are the dual targets. But by now, the Hawks have pushed extra numbers across half-back. Pavlich presenting himself further up the ground. Swings it across looking for Carr. Gee, it was an outstanding kick.
Oh, he's
Carr
off.
was off.
Oh,
he was definitely off his line. Modra, again, just falling a little short of him. Hooks it back off the left. There was only Hawthorn players there, unfortunately, for the Dockers. Graham escaping with it out of defence. The spoil from Parker was pretty good on Barlow. Over kicks to half forward. Our commentary box has collapsed here. Mate, Chris Mainwaring, this strong man from the circus, he's holding it up. McFarlane, more important matters, trying to wheel the ball through. Couldn't do so. Black, back to Bandy.
Cool from both sides.
Bowyer gets towards the line.
You've done that very well, Hutto, with a lot of distraction going on behind you to keep calling the game, man.
Hey, while you guys recover, I'll give you the Hawthorn bench, give you a break here. Trent Crode's still there, can you believe it? Stephen Green, Angelo Lekis and Lance Piccone.
So the ball inside 50, 15 points the difference. Good hands from Wren, away to Harford. Looked pretty good up the boot. Oh, Barlow will be disappointed with himself on the first grab. Recovered well enough. Dixon hitting the ball hard. Had support from Joel Smith. Got the space down there for them to lead into. You'd love that as a forward. Thompson made a promising lead. Jones harassed him out of it. Stretched a very good handball. Oh, the fumble from Longmuir, crucial. High tackle. Advantage could be paid. No, it won't be paid. Carr was ready to escape.
He's got one there, Longmuir. He had his head over the ball and had to be a free kick.
Well, Matthew Pavlich needs to present himself. He's been very well held by Rawling so far in this game. This is a terrible kick through the middle. Set. Look at that, Wren. Probably one of the tallest, well, if not the tallest player on the ground.
Chick. And now the man, his opponent, is loose in Thompson. He can work the ball over the top. They're one man down, the Dockers. And Barker strolls in for another goal. How many easy goals they want to give John Barker for the day?
And whilst that has happened, Anthony Jones is kicking himself just off the deck. He's caught one in that Sean Wren mark in the middle of the ground, and well, to make matters worse, it was just an easy release to Thompson, Jones's direct opponent, allowed Barker to run in. It's a bad sign, and it's just shocking when they've done all the attacking Fremantle in the first part of this quarter, and they've conceded a goal like that so early.
Three goals for John Barker.
Fletcher's loose on the half-back line for Fremantle. Tallis for Hawthorn.
So that trend continuing with the extra men back in defence. Wren got the tap. Bandy in the ruck now. Harford getting it out the middle.
Yep, Fletcher's man.
Tallis to Barlow. Harford, who was dynamic in the second quarter, trying to elude Hazelby. Oh, he almost got himself into trouble, but somehow he got himself out of it. Clark overrunning it. Carr ready to go, very strong at the ball. Put Black under a bit of pressure there. Didn't have much in support. Well, he held it in there. He might go. No, he got a high tackle.
He's lucky to get away with that, Ben, and I reckon you've got to turn to the boundary line in that case. He came back through the centre of the ground, and that's just dangerous territory. It's okay now, they're going to be able to release the ball and bring it away from the hot spot.
Although there's not much really on for him, he has to go very short to Parker, so not giving them much run, or as much run as they would have liked. There's his left foot kick back onto the wing, almost the mark taking, not quite for Waterhouse. High tackle. Advantage should be played this time. Cook takes it. He had a man pushing down right on the outer side of the ground, but Pavlich was able to break free anyway. Lee Brown has kept on running. Pavlich is going to move it quickly, long and strong. Longmuir, I think, is at full forward, but he was well out positioned on that occasion.
Wrong option, I reckon, Ben. Should have used Brown. He made the effort to run forward. He was on his own. Better to be keeping possession of the ball, and he went in a 2-on-1 situation. And now they've just turned over the ball way too easy after doing all that hard work.
And Brown's opponent, Barker, has pushed to the other side of the ground to try and provide an option for the Hawks on the way out of defence.
Well, this is the standstill football we're seeing once again.
I think all the players have agreed that they'll just hold the ball up and have a bit of a rest. Brown got to the contest. Hay was late on it. Surely that's out of bounds. Now it is. Don't forget, with other matches going on around the country, you can check the latest on all the results and all the news, all the tribunal, all the reports, i7sport.com.au on the World Wide Web, and Richard Osborne in the chat room tonight at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Bell sending the Dockers into attack, edging off Rawlings, couldn't get there to stop the Modric dive. He's just missed a couple down low today, hasn't he? Bell going back, working it outside. Fletcher trying to find a path for a good kick. Oh, Longmuir just hesitated for a moment, then he played on, saw the opening and finds it. Good kick, good finish.
They will take the hat partly off for Sean McManus in that case there, Ben, because he actually ran forward. Too many times we've seen the ball go into Fremantle's forward line. There hasn't been enough of their smaller players there to get the ball. And you can just see him, he's pushed up there to help out Pavlich now. His disposal wasn't the best, but he hasn't been on his own there. And eventually Bell was able to find Longmuir on his own. He's played on pretty quickly, but that was much better, seeing the midfield players run forward and just give extra options when they go into their 50-metre zone.
So again, the Dockers get back within reach at 15 points. Next goal so important. Wren, the tap, half it. Has just given them so much out of the middle. Crawford missed his target, so Fremantle a chance. Bowyer laid it off to Chalice. Under siege, the Hawks on that occasion. Oh, there's a bit going on.
Cook and Tallis.
He's let a couple go. Free kick to the Dockers. Emerging with it, Parker. Bandy. All flat-footed. Hazelby's handball was great. McManus the sidestep. Needs to finish it off. Does. Great kick. Dockers have kicked a couple in a row.
And smart play by the Dockers. They kept going on then when the situation there where the fight was going on. A lot of the Hawthorn players got caught up in that situation. The whistle went, but of course, you know, just keep going until the umpire pulls you back. And this is a bit of a roll-on now with Fremantle. And you know, once the wind gets up behind them, they can be pretty dangerous in this situation, can't they?
Yeah, it was a good run from Parker off the half-back line as well. Just created a bit of, you know, a bit of space for his teammates, and a bit of spite has crept into this game, so it'll be interesting the next couple of minutes.
They've kicked 5 out of the last 7 goals, Fremantle.
And into the ruck, Longmuir forward. I think it's a good move, Hutto.
I think it came about from necessity when Longmuir sort of got a little bit hurt. They put him to full forward, but as you said, could prove to be a good move for them. 7-9 to 6-6. Fremantle with a little bit of momentum now.
One area where Hawthorn are going very well in this quarter has certainly been in the centre square. I reckon they're beating them out of there. If Fremantle can tighten up in that area, then they're going to cause a lot more problems than they are at the moment. You can see just how hot it is for the players there. Peter Bell having a sensational quarter, 7 possessions already.
Bandy again with Wren. Hazelby just couldn't quite get his man. Crawford could. Wren back to Dixon, who's pushed back into defence. At least he was from that ball up. Lord. The runner is Lekas down into the forward 50.
That's a great run on.
And well played by John Barker, who stopped his lead. Oh, there's the fumble. Well, certainly not what we were expecting then. Bell around the corner. Fletcher needs to be strong here. Broke the first tackle. Low pass. On the bounce, Pavlich couldn't trap it. The extra runners were Hawthorn players. Crawford tried to be a little bit too clever, then he was aggressive on the way back. Fletcher's handball just missed the mark. Good shepherding, no Hazelby, almost hurled that one out. Norwich getting back. Bell, Modra, long way from home. Then he went to ground and
Fifth time today.
Yeah, just can't take those low catches at second slip today. McCabe, Harford, been one of the Hawks' best.
Good kick if he makes it out of bounds, isn't it?
Yeah, the only
Doesn't have
option.
any option.
But I think the trend this quarter is the Fremantle Dockers Smalls have been able to win the loose ball in the middle of the ground. Bell, as you said, mate, he's been very, very good. And I reckon Bandy, I know he's not racking up possessions, but he looks like he's got a bit of spark with him, playing on Sean Wren.
Close to the boundary line, Balekis, Cook, kept it in. To half-forward Pavlich. No, he didn't keep it in. I think it's coming back for a throw-in.
Update on the Dockers bench, boys. Daniel Metropolis is still there since he gave away that free kick in the goal square, and along with Brad Wirra, who's still there, Dion Woods, and now Brad Mootsma.
I just saw some fantastic talking there from Matthew Carr to get Black onto his man. Very good vision.
Well, decisive tap there from Bandy. Norwich was coming through, just couldn't take it with him. Cook flips out. Crawford, Bandy, clever tap. Frees up Norwich. Waterhouse presented it strongly there. Now we know he can make the distance all right, but this is a very tight angle for it. It would really make a lot of noise though, wouldn't it? Really make a statement for the Dockers here if we could kick this goal.
Yeah, it just looked as if Jonathan Hay allowed him to run at the ball then.
He didn't jump at the right time either, did he?
No, if Clive's in front and he's got to run at the footy, he'll more often than not take the mark. That's clearly strengthening of his game.
Big kick, this one for Waterhouse. Misses to the right.
And I reckon Damien Drummond and his match committee have told the boys at half-time, told the Fremantle boys, look, we need to start putting some more pressure and we need to be harder at the ball. I reckon they've probably got the players to be harder at the ball at Fremantle. They're very good at getting the loose and hard balls compared to Hawthorn, and they're just lifted in that area.
Rawlings went for Wren. Support from Hay. Just delayed the handball. Gee, Clark's very clever with those little taps when he's not in position to take it and run with it. Carr.
And solid across the half-back lines, Carr.
They've definitely lifted all over the ground, Fremantle. Black. McManus. Just a little bit too much on it, but he goes again. Slapped away.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, just tapping it towards the boundary line. McManus is still in. Good play by Fletcher and also Longmuir and all that, but McCabe now, and the man's on from the outer side of the ground. It's Harford again.
Very good at this release football, aren't they?
This time through the middle of the ground, through the corridor. Crow, young Stephen Green back on the ground. Plenty of options. One of them is John Barker.
Great kick.
It was a great kick, wasn't it? Tony running out of the pocket if he wants him.
I reckon in the distance he'll be comfortable with the distance then, Barker. He's been very solid today for them, and why not take a shot when goals are at a premium? It's interesting you talk about the hardness around the ball, Maney. The one player that really Hawthorn is the key player in that era is Daniel Chick, and he's been taken out of the action and he's up forward.
Well, they call him the king of 1%ers, Daniel Chick.
Well, John Barker's 3 previous goals were all kicked from inside a metre. This is a little bit tougher assignment for him. And distance maybe just made him push it a fraction to the right, fraction too far.
Going back to young Green, and you mentioned he had a couple of options going there forward there, Hutto. And the beauty about Green in that situation is he chose the right option on his right foot. He had one player going out to his left-hand side, but he would have been kicking across his body. And by choosing Barker, it was much better to execute his kick.
Longmuir takes an uncontested mark at half-back. So they'll be happy to get a good, solid kick in. A free kick being paid to Daniel Bandy. A good, long, solid kick in will give them some confidence.
Wren's coming off, so I reckon Swab would be...
Crawford.
Yeah, well, that's interesting, but I think they're concerned about Bandy. Just they realise he'd be fresh, and with his endurance, he could have an impact.
Well, Longmuir always seems to have a lot of time, or he takes a lot of time anyway, but it doesn't matter. Black, again, a punishing kick. Modra one-on-one. He had to spoil in the end. He just couldn't quite hold the ground that he would have liked. And now the Hawks are away. And Dixon, again, Barker could have been a target, but he must have decided he couldn't reach him. On the run, Thompson got Barker in the pocket, hooks it up for him. Croak was the man, but what a terrific spoil down there on that last line.
Great defensive work by Mark Graham on Tony Modra. He really set that play up. He looked out of position, but he just went back and took Modra out of the contest. It was a good one-on-one play.
The long arms there of Daniel.
Yeah,
well just got to the ball, wasn't it?
Excellent stuff, and he has made an impact in this third quarter. The Dockers certainly have. 21 points down. Now they're right in touch. Lord. Oh, Chick dropped it. Holding the ball.
Good decision by the umpire. That was definitely the right decision.
Crawford hit the top of the goalpost with that snap at goal after a free kick had been paid.
Just down in front of us, Paul Hazelby's just going off with Brad Wirra. There's that tackle. And
it hit the knob. Top of the goalpost.
Doesn't get much better than that.
Short kick in, Parker. Now he can run. Tucks the ball under the arm. Chick was pursuing. Waterhouse. Oh, McManus, the path open for him. And it's an open forward line. He went for Pavlich, goes to Modra instead on the end. Oh, great interception from Rawlings. And he knows that there's always someone running to that outer side. Didn't even look, but Pachoni was there. He's got runners for him as well. Short one for Crawford on the overlap. Couple of players, one of them Clark, the other Lekas.
Well, who better to give it to? You know that this man can run.
Mark, couple of kicks out from goal. He just bombs away. Crowe's got 4 to beat here. Dockers had the numbers, probably could have taken the mark rather than go the spoil.
He was quick to stop that.
Yeah, he did. He did it well. Bell just took his time then to make sure that he found his teammate. He's done that okay.
There's a touch of confidence about the Fremantle Dockers just at the moment, Ben.
Yeah, they've lifted. Yep, they've lifted clearly. They look up at the scoreboard and they say, as badly as we've played and executed our skills, we're still a chance of winning this game.
And this is one man who's been very instrumental, Sean McManus. He's come right into the game in this quarter. And look at this pass to Tony Modra.
He's got him finally.
Well, the forward line's been open as well this quarter. Maybe it's a consequence of the Hawthorn players generally getting tired and not drifting back into that zone, but a couple of times we've seen Modra with the opportunity to run into open space. It's very, very difficult for Mark Graham to stop. Graham's not slow, but it's very difficult for him to stop when Modra's on the lead like that.
Of course, there's the article written in the paper this morning about Tony Modra thinking about retirement based on the way that he moved then. I'm sure we'd like to sort of see him going around for a few more years yet.
That his manager just teased him or not?
I never thought about that. Oh, good kick.
Well, that'll help with negotiations. Great kick from Tony Modra. We have got a ball game here now. 3 points in it.
And both sides are ringing the changes. Fletcher's coming off for a break. So is Harford. Bowyer's coming off on for him. And it's really going to be survival of the fittest, literally, in this game. A team that can execute with a bit of poise like Modra did. McManus kicked it to him. It was great play. But just the team that's had the best rotations and the fitter side, I think, will win today.
So the questions now being asked of the Hawks, after they really have had the edge for most of the day. It's back to 3 points. Thompson aggressive at the centre bounce against Longmuir. Pachoni took a long time to release it. Could have been pinged. A little bit indiscriminate there, McManus. He also wasn't penalised. McManus goes again. Down to Modra. One-on-one. He just slipped again behind Graham.
Fantastic judgment by Graham then.
Graham backed himself in. Lekas. McFarlane could be the next option for him here. Takes it well.
It's a good kick.
The Freo have pushed back here. Tried to block off the next lead. And that's a good, strong mark by Walker. Stood his ground nicely. Lord and Barker. Barker was advancing down the ground at a fair rate of knots.
The Lord started off well in this game, but you haven't seen much of him in this quarter. Walker's done exceptionally well to cut him out of the game.
Just 2 possessions for Lord in this quarter. Pavlich couldn't hold him with that one. Hay, again, backed himself. Green just got the ball moving. It was pretty good play in the end. Lekas through the middle. Joel Smith got someone to his left if he needs him. He does. Decides to use him on the outer side. Bowyer waits. And,
execution.
Well, yeah, wasn't good. Carr's been important for them. Grover.
No, the Fremantle players have got to push on over. Just no one prepared to run for him, and he's just had to bomb it long.
He has. Good running back from Thompson for the Hawks, though. And now they've worked the ball up. This is Green again. So he's done pretty well in his first match, Stephen Green. Another man who's pretty inexperienced, Tim Clark.
And they're the sort of players that Hawthorn should be relying on in these conditions, because they're both very good runners, and these conditions would suit them, both Green and Clark.
Yeah, the spoil on Barker that time was okay. Jones, he knew what was coming, he hurt himself.
He's in trouble, Anthony Jones. He's put his head down there, and he's as tough as they come, and he's got to his feet, which is a great sign.
Has it got him on the head of
The amount of times that's happened this year in AFL footy, I reckon it's staggering. You've just got to be protected if you put your head over the nut.
Yes, well, the controversy's raged, hasn't it, about the charging rule and the definitions we should and shouldn't have.
I think there's an obligation on the second player coming in to get low and get down, get their shoulder down if there's a player over the ball.
Gee, that could have been dangerous,
wasn't it, Hutto? Yeah.
Walker emerges with it, so no damage done. They look at each other there. Oh! Talk about hip and shoulders. You meant to do it to the opposition, though, not your teammates. They just looked at each other, and as a result, the collision came. Loose man Green demanding the ball in his first game. Lord took an eternity to give it to him. He was looking for better options, but in the end, it was a fine option, and they've worked the ball into full forward. And here's John Barker. He thought about laying it off.
Ben, would you say if there was going to be two players that are going to... Barker, sorry, Hutto, call this one?
Well, he's gone for the centering pass, and it was a little bit ambitious, but it's okay. McFarlane's taken it.
I was going to say, Ben, if there's two players in the Dockers that are going to run into each other, would you say one invariably a lot of times going to be Clive Waterhouse?
What do you say?
Go with that.
Answer the question.
He's been involved in a couple of collisions. I think you're right, matey. But look, I think it's a good sign. It's a pretty tough game. They both want the footy. They both want the footy.
Bit of pressure here on young Luke McFarlane. What pressure, he says, kicking the goal.
I tell you what, it was a fantastic sign from Green then, demanding the footy, as you call it then, Hutto. If he hadn't have screamed at his teammate, then he wouldn't have been able to just do that little chip pass into attack. It was fantastic play. He was the one that kicked it to Barker. Barker eventually released it, but great sign for a kid in his first game demanding the ball off a senior player.
Well, as you were just speaking, Lee Brown's come off, replaced by Metropolis, so he's back on after being disciplined.
Yes, Metropolis returning to the ground to go on Barlow after being disciplined for that. 2 goals in a minute for Johnny Barker early on, but that's an important goal for the Hawks. Gives them back just that small lead for Choney. We're getting late in the third quarter, so scores here, vital. Dixon could have played the handball on. I don't think it matters. It's a goal. Metropolis arguing that hit the post. Dixon really should have handballed over the top.
I think Metropolis might be saying that he touched the ball. Yeah. I think that's what he's sort of saying to the umpire there. He's not too happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, the umpire couldn't call that. There was no obvious deflection there, Maney, and, I tell you what, it's a dangerous one, Hutto. You're a half-forward flanker. Your job's to kick goals. Do you handball it over or not?
It was the post, though, I think, that he was arguing about, and I think the replay might have supported him.
Okay.
We might have to have another look at it. So 9-10-64 to 7-7-49.
Just Hawthorn kicking the last 2 goals at the 25-minute mark may hurt the Dockers severely.
Longmuir gets them going forward. Almost the mark, not quite for McFarlane, who's done a couple of nice things. Pachoni's also been involved in the last few minutes. It was an excellent kick. And again, this little side kick out wide from Boyer. Close to the line for Barlow.
A great tackle.
Yeah, good fierce stuff for the Dockers.
Just fantastic.
And rewarded.
And straight at the hips, didn't he, Shorts Parker?
Shane Parker, take your hat off to you. That was just brilliant, I reckon, because they could have been away. And you're smiling because it's your favourite player, isn't it, eh? I'm actually starting to come around on to Shane Parker.
I'll get you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Metropolis was the target. It going to the back of Boyer. Pachoni, and it's out of bounds.
Just a crucial skill error from Hawthorn. Just allowed Parker into the play a minute ago, but if that ball, there was an easy release to Barlow, and it just didn't hit the target. If the ball had hit him on the chest, he would have been able to just kick it deep into the 50-metre zone.
Longmuir doing the ruck work with Thompson. The Dockers starting to run. We've got some drive out of Hazelby and Black in this quarter. Good work. Wirra just waiting to find a man to lay it off to. Walker back to Wirra. And now Hawthorn have pushed a couple back, but Modra still found space to lead into. Good positive lead.
I mentioned Black there a moment ago in that sentence, Hutto, and I reckon he's enjoyed coming up from the back pocket.
Car's on, inside 50. Oh, Mods is doing his roots up. He's still on. Oh.
And I reckon Black's just enjoyed having a bit of a run on the ball. He's played very well on the back line so far this year. He's a very talented player, and of course we know how good he is a kick on goal. And speaking of someone who can kick on goal very well, Tony Modra.
Well, needs to use all of that experience that we talked about earlier, and he has. 2 important goals in the third quarter for Modra. And that certainly keeps Fremantle within touch as we head into the last quarter. That goal hit inside the last minute.
We made the point a minute ago, Ben, about the Hawthorn getting that goal and how damaged it could have been. I reckon that's partly saved the Dockers getting that one back just before the end of this third quarter. And I reckon it's been vital this quarter. Whoever seems to win the ball out of the centre of the ground has certainly gone forward and scored out of it. So we always know how important that is, but it's certainly been evident in this quarter. Daniel Metropolis has now moved on to a half-forward flank. Krishna started his career there.
Yeah, where it all began for him in dynamic style for the Eagles. So the Dockers going forward again, maybe one more chance to score. Waterhouse kept his footing initially and then he just fumbled it.
Can't be too critical
No,
there, Hutto.
you
It's his
can't.
first game this year, and the one thing you do miss is just your touch when you're not playing week in, week out. But he's been good for him. He's led pretty hard and certainly been a target for him up forward.
Particularly in this quarter, the whole structure has just looked so much better. Fletcher trying to pretend he was a ruckman at the back of the pack. Pachoni caught one initially and he seemed to be stunned by the initial contact.
I'll tell you what, you get a video of Heath Black. Just don't give it away, Heath. Just relax, son. You got the free kick. But if we got the replay of that tackle, just brilliant. Just went straight at Pachoni. Eyes for the tackle at all times.
That was an excellent lead into the space. Modra trying to get it off to a teammate. He couldn't. Drone just banged onto the boot. Jones versus Barlow. Not much time for either side. Free kick for hanging onto the jumper, yes.
And with Daniel Metropolis going forward, Pavlich has now gone back onto Barker. And that means Rawlings will be picking up Metropolis, and Rawlings certainly has lowered Pavlich's colours today. He was being excellent with Rawlings on Pavlich.
Well, it's three-quarter time, and the Dockers can be well pleased with that quarter. They just seemed to let it go a bit towards the end when the Hawks kicked a couple of late goals. But that goal, the second one for Tony Modra, has meant they are well and truly in this game as we go to three-quarter time. Hawthorn a 9-10-64, Fremantle 8-7-55 at Subiaco. The margin is 9 points. Saw an extraordinary battle at three-quarter time here between both sides who wanted to get the shade. There's only one bit of shade on the ground coming from the light tower, and that was at Fremantle's end, and there you can see eventually the umpires decided to divide up the shade fairly evenly. But I can report that Fremantle have won the battle of the shade because Peter Swab is now addressing the Hawks in the sun.
Well, no, it would have been hard to get a spy in the opposition camp, would it?
No one was prepared to concede defeat, were they, in that situation?
And it does.
It makes it pretty hard, though, when you are out there on the ground and you are looking for a piece of shade, especially in these sort of conditions. So I can certainly understand Hawthorn's point of view. And Adrian Barrett down on the ground.
Thanks, Marty. Yes, I'm joined by Michael Brown, the president of the Hawthorn Footy Club. You've lost the Battle of the Shade, but you've also lost some members as well, Michael.
We have, Adrian. We're the 6,000 of our 2,000 members who haven't yet rejoined. We've got 25,000 members, and we're thrilled that we've got 17% new. But if those 6,000 people are truly committed to Hawthorn, we need them to sign up before our home game next Saturday against Melbourne.
There's a big opportunity of fans to actually meet some of the boys next week.
There is, as part of our family fun days, we have a big day out at Box Hill City Oval next Tuesday with all-day activities for young children, and lots of things are happening, and then followed by our senior team training out there at 4 p.m, so get along and be part of the action.
And of course, the team of the century, that's a big night for you.
It is, on the 27th of April at Crown Casino. It's a great chance to come and pick your best ever Hawthorn team. We've had some fantastic players. There's a chance to put them in line.
Thanks, Michael. Survival of the fittest out there. What do you think?
Well, I just hope that we can play more direct and the game's ours.
And hang on. Good luck.
Thanks very much.
Back to you, Hutto.
Just thought we might get a few more of the social events in on the Hawthorn calendar there, but It's going to be a big last quarter for the Hawks, isn't it? The pressure on them to a degree here because they come in favourites, but the Dockers have got the momentum.
And I think one player's set for a big last quarter is Wren. It's been a good battle between he and Longmuir for most of the day. Bandy's on the ground, he's gone forward, but Wren, if he can get first use of the footy for the Hawks, they'll be in it.
Last quarter from Subiaco. Sean Wren against Justin Longmuir. And straight away Mark McKenzie crosses the arms and calls for the ball again.
Well, what's an interesting situation is Crawford playing on Carr. I mean, Carr's 191 centimetres and Crawford's 174, so he's certainly winning the aerial, Jules. They're both playing at centre-half forward, centre-half forward, centre-half back.
Good work from McManus to get the initial release. Black can score from there. It's a matter of accuracy again. Unfortunately, behind Fremantle's point of view. But Black's been a prime mover for them since they've come back into this contest.
Yeah, he gives a different mix to the midfield, doesn't he? Cook, Hazelby, Fletcher, they're similar players. You throw Black in there, he can cut a line pretty quickly, and he's a very, very good kick. Those other three players I mentioned are all very good inside, and they handball more often than not, but having Black there just gives them a better mix.
It does, gives them good penetration, doesn't it, when he can get it and go. Bandy to spoil here on Wren. Ball at ground level, numbers with the Dockers, Bootsma late on the scene, Chick. Hawks trying to get it off half. Oh, that was I think it was a clever kick. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Crawford, it must have been touched or hit the ground. Interception from Metropolis. Lays it in front of Modra. Got it! Oh. Good strong mark on the lead from Tony Modra.
You hit it on the head there where you said a strong mark. That was fantastic by Tony Modra. He was under a lot of pressure there from his opposition player, and he took that in full flight. Let's just take another look at this.
Nice pass from Metropolis on the left. He's had an indifferent game, and his confidence wouldn't be at an all-time high after the Barker incident, and then spending a fair bit of time on the bench. But it was a nice left foot pass.
Well, Modra kicked beautifully in the third quarter. This one, though,
you know you're not supposed to do that.
No, that's right. Sorry. He's kicked at 65% accuracy through his career, Tony Modra, which is very, very good. It's a very high percentage. Unfortunately, this time he kicks it behind.
At the end of this game, he kicked 569, so I think he's kicked one already, so 572. So 572. Only Wayne Carey's kicked more than him. That's playing AFL football at the moment.
Harford takes the mark, with the margin back to 7 points. The first couple of scores to Fremantle. And again, I guess the question we just don't know, the great unknown, is the impact this heat's going to have on all players, but I guess we suspect mainly the Hawks. McKay unloading to centre half forward. Dixon behind. Couldn't take the mark. Crode, Walker. Crode, who hasn't had the greatest of days.
Great tackle.
Took them on then. Bell was terrific. Crawford got away from Fletcher. Dixon again versus Grover. Made the contest. Thompson, the handball. Dixon got in the road. Got his head in the road. Black kicked it blindly. Bell just couldn't compete there with Crode, who might have actually caught one, but he certainly made everybody aware that he did.
He needs to get it on. Dixon was actually on. I know he copped one. I know he's copped one there, but he just needs to get back. And, well, if you release it a lot quicker, Dixon was on.
Oh, that's a great grab from Pavlich, who's gone back, as we mentioned.
Well, it's time for everyone to get back there, Hutto. That's the difference between Trent just not getting back quick enough.
So the Dockers have got a chance here to use the ball. Metropolis got Black in at centre half back. That's who he goes for. Didn't quite find him on the full, but
where are they going?
Yeah, where are they going? Well, they've got a couple on the loose on the wing. Bootsma and Bandy. Bandy leaving it for Bootsma. Waterhouse across centre half forward as the target. Hay will try and spoil as it hits the ground. Joel Smith, who's been pretty quiet. That's close to deliberate, isn't it?
I think that's deliberate.
It is. The umpire was right there on it.
Good decision.
Mark McKenzie.
He didn't make any effort whatsoever to disguise that one, Joel Smith.
Bandy pushes forward. That's where the kick goes. Chick the spoil. Did he interfere? Was that interference? That was. Holding the man. Peter Bell has had a mountain of possessions, more than 30 now. Taking it very quickly and getting it into Waterhouse. No one on the mark. Played on. There was a late rush. And really, you have to wonder about, given that he is such a good kick of the footy in terms of distance, that distance wasn't going to be a problem.
He didn't gain anything from playing on it. In fact, he put himself under more pressure had he, as you said, Hutto, just gone back and taken the shot on goal and given himself all the time. So they're just doing all the attacking at the moment as Fremantle. They really do need to get a score on the board through the major sticks.
Well, it's down to a goal, the difference. And really, the Hawks just look a little sluggish at the moment. Wren couldn't pull it down. Good scrap for the ball. McManus, Clark, just edging on the scene, taking it away. Tough for Lord. Walker the spoiler. Metropolis. And it's hard to line it out of bounds.
Hawthorn bench, boys, so you know what they've got in reserve. Tallis, Boyers there, Green and Barlow.
Thanks, Barra. 6 points the difference. Last quarter from Subiaco. Hawthorn and Fremantle. Fremantle have 21 points down at half-time. They've come back within a goal. Lekas trying to dig deep and live for the Hawks in these very hot conditions. And there's not a heck of a lot going on at the moment. Eventually, the umpire let it go and Harford got it out. McFarlane, wobbly one, Crowed. Oh, crunch on Carr. Free kick, going to Carr.
Kept his eye on the ball
Yeah,
there,
he did.
Hutto. It was
Gutsy effort, wasn't it, by Matthew Carr there?
already this season, he's done that a number of times. It's become a characteristic of his footy that he doesn't flinch in those tight situations. He's well, he's blown pretty hard though at the moment.
Brad Weir taking it and going short. Parker broke the first tackle. Oh, he did well to get his kick away in the end. Well, good leap from the side from McManus has really given them a presence. Long shot at goal is way offline. Modric digging deep. Tony Modra. Great effort. Fabulous effort from Tony Modra. Oh, don't give it away yet, Tony.
And I reckon the effort from Sean McManus, as you pointed out there, Hutto, he made an effort at the ball there in a 2-on-1 situation. Let's just take it. No, we're not going to see that situation, but this is the reason why the ball has ended up over here.
And a little incident like Matthew Cardo, Maney, I reckon that can set the scene. That a lot of the players, the Dockers players, can gain a bit from that, and just it flowed forward from Modra's mark.
Modra.
Oh, no. Can you sum that up, please?
Maybe you should consider giving it away. Only joking. That was a shocker. He wouldn't have too many worse shots at goal in his career than that.
And in contrast, Ben, something like that really does deflate the Fremantle players, doesn't it? Because this is your prime, your prime goal kicker, and he's completely missed.
But the one thing in their favour is they have been dominating play in this last quarter. They've set themselves up for chances. Joel Smith had nowhere to go but the boundary line. He got a shove, did he? No, out the full.
Good chase by Brad Weir then. Yep. He could have just given up the chase and just allowed him to get the ball out of there too easy. He's played on very quickly.
Bootsma taking it away. Don't forget I7 Sport. But here's Bootsma. Long kick towards full forward. Pushing back. Hazelby one-on-one. Oh, I thought he had it for a moment. Not quite. And about the result.
I reckon if we get a replay on that McCabe and Hazelby incident, I mean, is that holding or not? Maybe not play on, fair enough, but it was very, very close, McCabe.
I was going to accuse you of being biased there, Ben, but I guess I can't.
Switches off. Hook on.
Kick away from Chick. Modra. Hay. Clearing kick to 50. Chance for Cook. Pachoni did well to drag him down. We're one-on-one with Joel Smith. Took them on. Backed himself. Got the ball away. Rawlings. Lekas in support. Metropolis had a pretty indifferent day. How's he going to go this time? He's going to find it pretty difficult. Well done, Jade Rawlings. Lekas, beautiful spot up. Magnificent spot up. Thompson looks a magnificent athlete when he's at full tilt.
Look at the run from
Crawford providing the one going back. Barker stayed out in the pocket. He's going to have to lead back to full forward. Oh, good double back. Good double back.
That all came from Crawford then, Hutto. He's forced Walker to go back and go with him. Just hard run from Crawford. It's unrewarded from his point of view on the stat sheet, but if he didn't run hard then, Lord wouldn't have had the opportunity to pop up in the space. Fantastic play by Crawford.
Well, after those misses from the Dockers, a straight kick here would really hurt. Aaron Lord to try and extend the lead to 2 goals. He's done the job. The Hawks, just a little bit of breathing space.
Well, that's Lord's second goal for the game, and I know you mentioned the work rate of Shane Crawford there, Ben, but I tell you what, the ability for Joel Smith to get the ball away when Clive Waterhouse tackled him there in defence was absolutely fantastic. I thought it was going to be a free kick. I thought Waterhouse had done enough to hold up the ball, but Smith was able to give it away, and that was the reason why the ball ended up down in the Hawks forward line, and of course Lord converting.
So now, can the Dockers come again? Crowed off the ground down there, I see.
Yeah, Wera's come off, Brown's come back on. He's gone back into defence.
And Pavlich has gone to the forward line. That could be a crucial move.
So the Dockers going for broke. They have to. Longmire and Wren negated each other. Harford's been great out of the middle today. Well, Lord, high tackle, yeah.
No doubt about that one.
On Walker.
Just pulled him, tugged at him while he was still in the air. Let's take a look at this. Oh, probably a high one, actually.
Bandy might have to be his target, or he might go a little bit longer. He does go a little bit wider anyway. Good leap from Longmire. Well done by Cook. Black bangs it on the boot. Here's Pavlich over the top. No mark. Spoil came from McCabe. Was that a holding decision? No. Hazelby weaved his way through. Gave it to Waterhouse. He could pump it from there. He does pump it. But that same area that Tony Modric kicked it, unfortunately, over the line and out on the full. Hawks not wasting any time. They'd love to just take it to the side where there's space. They'll just slow their momentum down, though. Tallis' fumble. Can bring it inboard with Crawford. Had McFarlane in support.
A lot of loose Hawks players running around, Hutto.
Yeah, but not much for Crawford to go for his next one, so that's why he had to back himself. He still hasn't got anything to go to.
Brilliant.
He ran through the lines then magnificently, Crawford, until he could get the ball down further. Terrific play. Harford screws it back. Hawthorn have got the numbers back here. If the Dockers fumble, two of them at ground level. Clark trying to weave his way through. Uses Leckers. How's his left foot? No, not good enough on that occasion.
What about Shane Crawford then?
Breaking a line,
yeah.
Maney. That's what I guess we've been talking about from the start of the game. That's what Hawthorn from the halfback line generally do. But I reckon too often today they've released to the outer boundaries, and not too many players have been able to cut up play like Crawford just did then.
We all know how quicker it is if you come through the middle.
Carr, Metropolis being held on to.
Whose is it?
Got a big man in front.
Made sure that the umpire knew about it, that's for sure. Metropolis. Some of the crowd wanting 50 here. Hawthorn 10-11-71. Fremantle 8-10-58. Approaching the midway stage of the last quarter. Good, strong hands from Pavlich. I know he's been beaten by Rawlings, but he's certainly presented himself all day. Look at Daniel Bandy. He could run up this point of the square. Lord was late on the scene. Still got the kick away. McCabe down to Rowe. Norwich pushed it wide. There's still a chance. Hazelby couldn't get himself free. Graham found a path through. Wren can kick it up onto the wing. Plenty of Hawks there. Crawford, one of them.
He's starting to be damaging in this last quarter, isn't he, Shane Crawford? He's really picked up his work rate. And he's just
possession, mate.
Yeah, and he's just the difference, I reckon, between the two sides, Shane Crawford.
Up to half forward, Barker. Good spoil. Lee Brown and the ball out of bounds.
Just trying to pick up Crawford's opponent because I think
it's Black, isn't it?
Yeah, it might be Black. Yeah, they're having a bit of a shootout, but Crawford's clearly on top at the moment.
It's just been that little bit more damaging.
Yep.
So the margin at 13. Tallis trying to come through on Piccioni. That was
got to be a free kick, doesn't it?
I would have thought so.
Yep.
It's interesting on that boundary throw. We're thinking that Black's picking up Crawford, but Troy Cook was telling Black to just sit off. That's got to be in the back.
Yep.
No worries about that.
So the umpire couldn't see it from where he was. So 13 points, still the margin here. Norwich just couldn't get the handball off. Well done, Tallis coming through. Bandy, Black, Bell. Just brushed aside the Hawthorn defence. Wren, Cook. Well done, Bell. He has just had a mountain of the footy today. Low pass, pretty good into space. Modra, how quick can he get around? The handball, Hazelby going backwards. Bell, standing start, into the pocket. Graham, too easy for him in the end.
Just run out of options, didn't they? They just didn't have anywhere to go, Ben.
Yeah, look, Bell's been excellent, but the last two disposals certainly went to the positive side of his teammates. I mean, I know the one in space was to Modra, but he needs to hit the target there.
They can come back in board. They've got two players right in the middle here. They want to take a bit of a risk.
Still look a bit exhausted, don't they, the Hawks?
And he has. He's made the decision to come back into Smith.
9 minutes of play remaining.
Still not the time to really be slowing the game up, is it? You know, we're just sort of trying to hold the ball in the back line. And this is what Hawthorn do. They love just chipping around in their back line.
It's amazing just the lack of run. I know it's, again, it's
pretty
trying,
intense,
but it's one-on-one without any movement around the ground.
You can see a big contest of players.
Mark,
No mark paid. And Walker takes it out.
So I thought Redden had a fair amount of purchase on that footy then. Leon Wood's getting a few instructions. He's one player that hasn't been used that much today by Drummond. He can run around. He's a very, very good endurance athlete.
Bandy got a little shove. Hazelby got the handball out. He's got it to 50. Cruel bounce for Waterhouse. Well done, Pavlich. Waterhouse just banging it forward. Modra, Graham right with him. No free kick. Again, the crowd wanted one. McManus late on the scene. Still it's loose. The 2 sevens, McCabe and Black. And Rawlings kept his head. Tallis emerging, has Smith to the left. He knew it.
Well done.
Smith has the time now. Does he have someone to kick to? Chick presented. The sun might have been a factor then. Well done, Parker. Black. Carr just slowed the momentum down. Hawks had an extra man across half-back. He's going to come into play. No, he overran it, Harford. Picked up by Pavlich. McManus trying to find some space for himself. Went back a long way, just a bit too far. Even for Waterhouse to think, you would think from here. He's got Bandy. He can kick to Bandy.
Go. He's got to go.
He should go. That's right. Go for home, they say to Daniel Bandy. He unwinds and unwinds and misses to the left.
It's good work there by Matthew Pavlich, wasn't he? He had a 2-on-1 situation. He was able to beat both the Hawthorn opponents. And Fremantle were able to retain the ball. They were able to move it across the ground from one side to the other. And Daniel Bandy, he should have slotted that one home.
Joel Smith, Rawlings, Leckus. Hawks advancing. Clark. Right down he goes. Barker loves to lead to that pocket. Good spoil from Brown. Barker can keep it alive here. Does that, gain some ground. Crow back on the ground. Didn't have anyone in support. He kept it in magnificently. Oh, well done, Trent Crow. Oh, Dixon couldn't get the handball off.
Crawford was free, wasn't he? Just if Dixon, I'm sure he tried to give it off then, but Crawford certainly was free. Great play by Crow just to keep the ball alive in the forward line.
And then just very good pressure here by, is it Grover? Right at the end. You didn't quite see it on screen, but just to knock it over the goal line.
Again, the margin at 13, and Fremantle need the next goal.
They're doing all the attacking in this quarter, Hutto. They've been inside their 50 10 times to the Hawks 3. They're just not getting the score on the board.
Almost paid that to Thompson. Doesn't really matter. McCabe, a couple of loose ones across centre half forward. Crawford can handball to Clark. He's inside 50 now. Didn't hesitate. Went for home.
He needed to steady, didn't he?
Yeah, he probably just could have steadied a bit more.
He's kicked that off one step and there was space in front of him. He could have just taken 4 or 5 more steps and just steadied. Maybe Crawford should have got in his ear as Hazelby comes off for a break bootsman to come back on. But he's been very, very impressive, Clark.
Fletcher back on the ground, Ben.
And Bootsman's just about ready to come back on, no.
Jones punching it up to the wing. There's Fletcher. McManus, did he interfere? He did.
Geez, you just don't need that at this stage of the game, Sean McManus. I mean, he's played very well. It might be a little bit harsh, but you just can't afford. If you're going to try and take a screamer, you just can't give away a free kick.
Crawford leaves that one for Thompson. He'll go past here, Crawford. Doesn't matter, doesn't use him. Crow, still a fair way out from goal. Managed just to prop up because he knew that Crawford was coming. Crawford might have a shot from there. He does have a shot. He misses.
Could have been costly then. They're just both peppering away in this quarter. Just no one able to really get a kick straight between the big sticks. And with 5.5 minutes to go, 15 points down as Fremantle. There's still plenty of time.
Black bumping it out. Fletcher will have to go. He did. He almost pulled it down. He did pull it down to the ground at least. And now this man, Peter Bell, finds a man, Norwich. Waterhouse, still too far to score, but he's got potential leads from Pavlich or Modra. Goes longer than that, even right towards full forward. Rawlings has been brilliant all day.
Yes. Wrong kick, I think, Ben.
It's 3-on-1, wasn't it?
It was probably the right area if he had the numbers there, but as you just said, they had 3-on-1. And it was just a little bit too easy, and the Hawks just trying to slow it down here a little bit.
Yeah, McManus off, Wirra on.
Maybe Sean paying a little bit of penalty for that free kick he gave away. A minute ago.
So Raiden Tallis has been pretty consistent for them today.
This is where, if Hawthorn are going to do this, Ben, then Fremantle have got to make sure they stay on their men. They just can't allow Hawthorn to keep chipping around and finding targets.
This is where they've got to break the line, Money. They've got to run forward. That's better, but they've got to break the line, not go out wide. They've got to get to the forward line as quick as they can. Good pass.
Fletcher's kick was very low, wasn't it? Pavlich just a little bit too hot for him, couldn't handle it. But his second effort, fantastic. Oh, he put his teammate Waterhouse under a fair bit of pressure. Bowyer, the shepherder, allowed it Hay to come in, and he can hit Johnny Barker. Too far out to score. Crode leads into the pocket. He's going to have to hold on to it now until he gets some more players down the ground. Just didn't have enough other options. Well done by Bootsman to put the pressure on Barlow, hold him up.
Parker's just filling the hole for Fremantle, so there's not much space for Crode to run into.
And they've shown the propensity to just work it across 50, but this time goes for the lead of Crode, and well done. There's the space you were talking about. Parker again getting in the road.
Got a free, hasn't he?
I think it was a little bit in the back there.
He has,
I think you'll find.
So Parker's going to switch to Carr.
Good vision. Now that he needs somebody, Pavlich has got to present himself. He's got nowhere else to go. There's just nobody presenting themselves.
He stops Longmuir.
Longmuir, sorry.
Good spoil from McFarlane. And he fights for it well, McFarlane. Couldn't quite get the handball where he wanted it. Now he's got another chance. Advantage will be paid. Harford to try and finish off the Dockers for the day, and he has missed.
Gee, if you add $1 on anyone being able to slot one from running into an open goal, you'd put your money on Harford. He's, I think, been the player that showed the most skill today. Crawford's been pretty good in patches. Harford's certainly set some goals out for Hawks, so it was a poor miss.
So 16 points now the margin. Crowd of just over 20,000 here at Subiaco.
That was a great kick out. Put him right on the line.
Carr finds his man through the middle of the ground.
Ben, Dion Woods is on the ground. We haven't seen too much of him. Is it too late to bring him up and get him into the game?
Well, they need a spark. Why not put him on the ball?
Bootsma goes for Waterhouse. Oh, good reading of the play. The Hawks defence on the whole has stood up pretty well. They've got the numbers here on the wing as well. Good mark. Crawford, he really has led in the last quarter. Decisive leadership. Went for Crode. It wasn't a great kick. He turned it into one. Brilliant play by Crode. Crawford deserves to kick the match winner, and he strolls in and does it, and he is one very happy boy.
Well, I think you'd have to say that's Lucilla, Ben, and that was just fantastic play by the former Brownlow medalist, Shane Crawford. And I reckon just sometimes in this quarter, Fremantle have made the wrong decisions at the critical time. Just their, I suppose, their execution and also just their decision-making has come unstuck. They've turned the ball over probably 3 times as much as what Hawthorn has done. And in that case, what great work effort. He's gone from taking it at one spot to receiving it down in the goal, and as Hutto said, a very happy man.
Well, Shane Crawford has rediscovered his love for the game of footy by the look of the way he kicked that goal.
One player that hasn't looked affected by the heat, Hutto. His fitness level is unbelievable.
Yep. Down to the last couple of minutes then. Tallis. Green back on the ground. He'll well and truly remember his first game. Had a good role in a couple of early goals. This is Wirra. Dockers sharing it around. Pavlich is the target. Rawlings made the spoil, and it's out of bounds. Well, they've been under pressure down there, haven't they, the Hawthorn defence, and even though the Freo forward line have worked pretty hard, they haven't cracked.
What'll be interesting to find out to see how the Eagles have gone, because if they lose and Hawthorn lose, and they go into the game next week with 3-0, and then after next week one side's going to be 4-0, so not a pretty sight for the West Australian teams.
Oh, the Hawks looking at each other then. Harford, Tallis finds Joel Smith. Plenty of short kicks will be the order you would think from here.
It's amazing the game. I reckon Crawford's clearly been the game breaker. Just his run from defence a couple of times in this last quarter just opened the game up in a game that has been reasonably static, very trying conditions, but static. One player has just taken over and dominated.
Dockers need to man up here. They need to just take a man each.
And I reckon, Ben, too, when a lot of players will be pretty tired out there, to see somebody run as hard as he did, it does break you, doesn't it? You wonder just how somebody can run so hard in these conditions at this stage of the game.
Well, this is unbelievable. It'll be about the 8th uncontested chest mark in a row.
McFarlane.
Here comes another.
Went for Green. No, he went longer. Went for Crawford, who just edges Black out of the contest.
Free kick.
No free kick paid. I guess it's academic now. Lekis Oh, takes it well. Got Clark at centre-half forward. He's going to have a shot, I think, here, Lickers. Strolls into goal and hits the post. Again, Crawford involved in that. You certainly could question whether it was a free kick or not, but what a last quarter he's played.
Yeah, it's similar to Bradley a couple of weeks ago when the game was there to be won. The senior player comes up. Bradley did it for Carlton a couple of weeks ago against Fremantle, and Crawford's clearly, he's been outstanding.
Well, Clive's come a long way to try and find probably his last kick for the game in the back pocket.
Brown up onto the wing, Troy Cook.
Been pretty quiet today, I reckon, Cook. It's 2 weeks in a row.
Hazelby, Fletcher, Bootsma, down to Modra. No, doesn't. Oh, big leap from Rawlings. Finishes the game in style. Good hard win for Hawthorn here at Subiaco. Considering that the Dockers really came at them.
Rawlings was good all day, wasn't he, Hutto? He had a big player, Pavlich, a player in great form, and not that he got a huge amount of the footy, but he took Pavlich out of the game.
Oh, I can see Barra down there with Shane Crawford. And he'll be a very happy man. Barra.
Pretty tired. I think we'll all sleep well tonight, both sides. But you know, we knew it was going to be tough. They've been in good form. You know, they should have probably beaten Carlton. And then last week they played well against Collingwood, who continued on in that good fashion. So it's a good win, and it's going to be a nice plane ride home, hopefully.
Suck it in there. Take us through that run from back here, and the goal that sealed the game. It was magnificent.
Oh, I didn't mean it. It was an accident. The kick had been all right. Maybe Trent or someone like that would have marked it, but the kick was a bit high and I just grabbed it and just kept running.
Is that just your fitness, Croft?
Oh, I think I just wanted the ball more than they did, so I think that helps.
How hot was it? Describe it for us. How hot was it today?
Oh, it's I don't know what the temperature is, but it's, yeah, the heart rate's up pretty high, and we rotated on the bench a lot today, so, you know, I think that helped with, you know, a little bit of run towards the end, but yeah, as I said before, the guys will all sleep well tonight, and you know, it's a very hot day. It's good to see Perth putting on such great weather.
Yeah, it was a great win for the club, and the Dockers, they're going to be okay, aren't they?
Yeah, they're good. They've got some great youngsters and a good midfield as well with Peter Bell and Troy Cook, and you know, there's a few others there, so, you know, they're going to be a good side, especially in the next couple of years.
Well done, Croft. Fans back home, they'll just be going mad now.
I hope so. It's 3 in a row. Hopefully we can continue it for the rest of the season, so go the Hawks.
Good on you, mate. Congratulations. Well done. Hutto, back to you.
Oh, the poor bloke.
I was going to say, do you reckon he'd be pretty keen to get off the ground?
Oh, I tell you what, if he's panting, it must be very, very warm out there. Rawlings, I think an apt way to finish the game. Rawlings was, he's been in very good nick for the Hawks the last few weeks, and great attack on the ball and great mark.
I thought Barra was going to get him to take us back to his junior days there for a minute.
There you can see just Shane Crawford coming off and being congratulated by his mates. They obviously realise the effort that he put into, as you probably pointed out, Ben, to really sort of turn the game and swing it in Hawthorn's favour. But again, Fremantle just a little bit slow out of the box, I reckon, Ben. You know, they
was that a good loss, Maney, or not? I mean, they talked about good losses. We previewed the match of that. I mean, can they afford to continue having good losses?
No side can afford to have good losses. I think that just about sums it up, doesn't it?
It does.
You know, as I mentioned before, you know, now it'll be interesting to see what's happened in the Eagles-St Kilda game, because you know, next week with the derby over here, they could be coming into it both 3 and zip.
Look, I think it's a great sign from Hawthorn. I don't think they played that well today, but to come over here in these conditions, we'll tune in for the song.
Teamwork is the thing that goes.